And what a shot from Kirica, taking that off the ceiling, underneath the ball, and straight down the middle.
Oh, there it is, out of the blue!
2 seconds left on the clock and the Joker finds something out of nothing!
Now, that pass from Shadow was immaculate, playing it straight down center. He just had to get a touch, and it's all he needed.
Sonic has a chance, it's an open net if he sees it. Looking for the shot downfield, goes into the corner, Kilogram! He gets the goal!
They're just in front of the net. Nuke barely keeps it out there, dies on the goal line. The long shot, it finds it through. Entity gonna pick it up.
We are live for the very last time in RSC Season 3 because it is the Master Playoffs. The big boys come out to play tonight and we're bringing it all to you. I'm Greybeard and we have 2 streams running. We have a play-in happening on this stream. We have 1 semi-final on this stream. We have the grand final on this stream. And then over on the B stream, being run and hosted by RhinoCast. We have the other play-in, the other semi-final, and then all the action culminates here. You will get to see all of it happen. Let's talk about our sponsors. Prize pools are being distributed and decided Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and tonight, all being provided by Nixa, who have been epic in supporting the biggest community esports league on the continent, and then bringing you all the action all the way from the beginning through preseason, all the weeks of league play, and tonight the playoffs is Genisus Extreme with us for the last time tonight. Well, in this season anyway, I'm sure we'll see them back again. And then tomorrow will be the last day you can order the merch. Now, the link for ordering the t-shirt is appearing in chat. Now, if you want a t-shirt, you need to order it by the end of tomorrow. We go to print next week. The epic, never to be repeated Season 3 RSC t-shirt. Get yours today. Alrighty, and now here's the calendar, where we have come from, where we are now, and where we go to from here. This is all the weeks of league play, all done and dusted. We have prospect champions, we have rival champions, we have elite champions. What we don't have yet are master champions, but we will have that tonight in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours if it goes as long as it did last night. And speaking of the prize pool being sponsored by Nixa, the master prize pool is 6,000 Rand. First place gets 4,000. Second place gets 2,000. All of that happening tonight. So 6 players will have a little bit of cash to play for, and this is the schedule for the night. Over on our stream, the main stream, we have Sovereigns versus Velocity. No, I think it's the other way around. It is the other way around. Ooh. Well, okay, we do have Sovereigns versus Velocity, and then the winner of that will play the Kings. And over on the B stream, Abyss are playing Alpha Force. And then the winner of that will play Merim. And then the grand finals will be here. Best of 5 for the play-ins, best of 7 for the semi-finals, and the grand finals, best of 5 for the play-ins. So that's what's happening right here, right now, tonight. And to help me to bring it all in are Vector and Muzz.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to be here once again. Greybeard, I was here last night for the Elite Playoffs as well. What a fantastic way that one ended, and glad to be back again for Master, the final of the finals, the top of the heap. I'm looking forward to some excellent Rocket League tonight. As you said yourself, it is the best that we've got to offer here in the RSC SSA. The end of Season 3, it's a little bittersweet, but I'm hoping for a great send-off.
I should probably say at this point, before we go any further, that we are celebrating a birthday today. One of the tireless people who make Rocket RSC work. He's also now an observer, does plenty of work for the Rocket League community in the background, and that is Falcon. So from all of us, Falcon, to you, happy birthday. We hope it's a banger and you have a great time. Happy birthday. So for Falcon's birthday, he will be hoping, of course, for another Dynasty victory. Dynasty have 2 champions and will be looking for a third. Now, we look at the standings here, gentlemen, and not as close as the elite tier, but still pretty close. Between 6th place and 1st place, just 6 points separating those places. And if you look at places 3, 4, and 5, they're all on exactly the same number of points. So it was very, very close in the middle. And a repeat of Elite, where Merim are playing Kings, or King DSQ in 1st place, Dynasty in 2nd place, separated by a single point. But Muzz, let's turn our attention to what's happening right here. We've got the play-in Sovereigns versus Velocity.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good one. I just look at the rosters off the bat there, Greybeard, and, Ravi, Devour, Daps, Potato, accomplished, experienced players in their own right there, which is going to be fantastic. Of course, Jerome backing them up there, got Serenity backing them up, Velocity as well. Kind of third versus sixth as well, so it's going to be tough for Ravi and Devour and Serenity. You got to take on the Sovereigns. Sovereigns having a good season, but when these two teams did play each other in game week 6, it was a draw, though, 2 apiece, Greybeard. So I don't know. Does history repeat itself tonight? It can't.
All right, well, gentlemen, bring it to us. And as I've always say, bring us a banger.
Yeah, well, Vector,
We certainly hope so.
There it is, right?
Yeah.
It's the 2 apiece between both these sides. History cannot repeat itself because it is only a best of 5. Yes, someone has to win.
They certainly do, and that's the calamity of it sometimes, especially in the play-ins. It's Knockout Rocket League at this point. No more mistakes are able to be made, and in a best of 5 scenario, especially with the way that the brackets work, you only get this one chance to push up and against that incredible second place or first place team. In this instance, it will be the Kings, whose sister team, the Queens, took down Elite completely last night, and I'm sure they'll be hoping to do the same thing. But one of these two teams, they're going to have to go through the gauntlet to get to that. Velocity, they pulled off 2 sweeps back to back to secure this 6th place. Ended with the highest goals scored in the division. I believe the only team who got over 100 goals scored as well, so that's a big accolade in their favor. And they shared the spoils back in week 6. They've already played each other, of course, throughout league play. Those Sovereigns did outscore Velocity by 11 goals. They bagged 9 in one game and 7 in another. So based on that, based on the players that we've got on the field tonight, I'm expecting this to be extremely high scoring. It's going to be even more tense and more tight because it's Knockout Rocket League. It's all down on the line, on the wire for the final time for one of these two teams, and I'm just hoping for some fireworks.
Yeah, of course, right. I mean, I look at what Devour's doing for this team here, Vector. I mean, he's got some of the highest assists here in the Masters. He's got some of the highest demos here in the Masters as well. So, of course, Velocity's frontman in Devour, their Vector, I think is going to have to step up, do a big thing here. Yeah, they're 6th place, right? But still 3rd in most assists, 2nd in most demos there as well. Hopefully that's going to come to the fore tonight and help, I think, Velocity take down Sovereigns. But yeah, Sovereigns, Daps, Potato, Jerome. I mean, that's a big squad as well.
Certainly is. You mentioned some of those important stats. Serenity and Daps hold 1st and 2nd in stats power rating. Potato and Devour are not far behind them as well. So these are some of the highest performing players throughout the entire division. The fact that they're not in one of the top 2 spots is like 4th and 6th. Or 3rd and 6th, I believe it was you said, is kind of crazy. There's some incredible talent on the field tonight, and based off of that, which way this one's gonna go, I'm leaning towards a 3-2. I feel like it's gonna go the distance, and I think just about it would be on the side of Velocity for me. But it really, by all accounts, is a coin flip.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of those predictions and what chat's going to predict as well here, Vector, I think you and I have both gone for Velocity 3-2. I don't know if that's the ballsy up chance against, 3rd place Sovereigns. I'm kind of like, I look at Rev and Devour, and just because they're such a powerhouse together as a duo, I personally want Velocity, why not? But it will have to go the distance. And I think you and I both going 3-2 says that the distance is definitely needed here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those that's won mainly on attrition. Obviously, both these teams not warmed up right now. It will depend on what they've done in terms of scrims prior to this matchup. But they already matched each other stride for stride in league play. And as I said before, Sovereigns, they massively outscored by 11 goals, Velocity. And I think based on that, they may be sort of flash in the pan for game to game. They didn't seem to quite have that consistency. Velocity took the first game between them 4-3, and then Sovereigns came back with a 9-2. You could argue that's against Velocity. They didn't have much of a defense against a runaway team, but it doesn't necessarily matter how many you score in a single game, especially at this point in the playoffs. All that matters is your consistency between games, and I think that's something that Sovereigns have probably got a little bit more strength in terms of what we see on the field. Daps, especially looking at the teams here, 1960 CMV. That is absolutely massive. A huge leap from the next player. On the other side, the Velocity, they're much more balanced, much more rounded in terms of their CMV. So based on that, you could argue they're more team-oriented. Daps, they're going to have to rely on him. But Potato with a gun, extremely talented player as well. I'm expecting the captain to step up for the Templar outfit here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the case, right? I think Potato and Jerome both have an experience together. They've played together as well. So we talk about those duos and those pairings that are going to come to the fore tonight. Potato with a gun and Jerome have to step it up. But as you mentioned, Daps, definitely also the 1900. I'm looking to see what Daps can bring to this outfit here and the experience as well that Daps has, at least coming over from the RLCS, and what he can do for this team. So definitely keen to see Sovereigns, 14 plus Sovereigns, how that's going to go down. Let's check out that Velocity roster. Here it is: Ravi, Devour, Serenity, Ayer on the field here. A lot less here, 1795 for Ravi there as well. So just huge disparity between these teams here, Vector. But, you know, you and I kind of both maybe seeing something in this Velocity roster tonight.
Like I said, I think this is the more team-oriented, the more passing and teamwork oriented side that has that ability to connect with each other and find that chemistry, find that passing, which is always important in the master tier. A lot of people think it comes down to high level mechanics, but generally the defenses are able to adapt to that and cut that out very quickly if their boost management is up to par as well.
Yeah.
But I just expect them to be the team to have that more consistency, you know, every area of the field, rather than having to rely on a specific talisman, a star player like Daps. And I mentioned it before, of course, as well. They had the highest amount of goals scored in the entire division, 103, which is higher than Sovereigns by like 10, 11 goals, something like that. But Sovereigns and Velocity, both the most goals conceded outside of the top 4 in the Master Division this season as well. So that's what led into me thinking this is going to be a very high scoring series. Which side's going to take the first hurdle? I don't know how it's going to go exactly. But we are kicked off here with the play-ins, the first play-in of the night between Sovereigns and Velocity, Fort Templar and Redirect Esports even, respectively. And I'm expecting a barn burner here, Muzz, as we get underway. Started relatively neutral. It's going to drop quite well for Sovereigns there as a free shot comes through, but all the defenders ready for it. All the way down on the field, Ravi looks to hit one off the backboard, cut out just as swiftly. And you can already tell, Muzz, this is going to be a fast-paced series.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you go for barn burner, right? That's exactly kind of the war of attrition we're expecting tonight as well. Sovereigns taking off Velocity. I love to see it. Serenity, already you mentioned those power plays. Serenity sitting right at the top there in those power rankings, which is great to see for the Velocity outfit there. Jerome in a bathtub, having to make that save on the near post as well. So just keeping him out, making sure they're not conceding early. Seems to be, that's going to be the goal of tonight as well. Oh, wide. Just kept out there. Someone taking a shot there. Daps. You mentioned Daps has to be the big factor here for Sovereigns. Well, he gets the opening goal.
Star player through and through, at least that's the expectation as Devour. Actually, he got a touch that he probably wasn't expecting there. Wanted to take it past the post, but ends up just hitting it back into it. And then a great disruption play as well, just taking out that encroaching second man for a Velocity's defense. But Sovereigns open the scoring, Daps to do it. The man they'll be looking to make the highlight reel plays, make the biggest difference throughout this entire night, not just this series, should they actually manage to get past Velocity here. They've started quite well. It's now 50 seconds into the second minute. We see a continuation of Sovereign's offensive stint. Nice little touch across, back to the corner. Jerome's forced to play this across. Will he get there? Yes, he will. Potato with a gun finds his way into the top right corner, dominates with that dominus, and already we're seeing the cracks start to widen for Velocity's defense.
Yeah, and everyone's hanging around on that near post, right? Devour, Serenity, all just chilling there, you know, kind of watching the play happen in front of them. Potato with the gun, the captain, you said, needs to step up. Yeah, well, step up he has for the Sovereigns. And 2 to the good right now. Sovereigns doing incredibly well here. Of course, just game 1 in a best of 5, right? So they can't pat themselves on the back just yet, but they are doing a stellar job here against Velocity. Ball going straight to the mid there. Nice little crack shot coming out there from Daps and almost landed in the back of the net, almost made it a third there, but the defense coming in strong for Velocity as well. What can Ravi do here? Nice little pass infield for Serenity. Oh, the top bins! That up a 90, it's good.
That was so calm, so simple from Serenity here. Ravi collects this with barely any boost, has the time and opportunity to just nick it along, get that dish across to Serenity, and he barely even shoots this. It just kind of comes off of him, but he directs it well enough to pierce that top right corner and have this deficit. They wanted to do much sooner rather than later, of course. As the third minute begins, or the third minute begins, and Sovereigns maybe a little bit rocked by that recovery from Velocity's offense. Not quite the expectation maybe that they had more control of the game, definitely against the run of play. But that's kind of what you expect to see between two powerhouse teams as these players on the field are extremely good at this game and have proved that time and time again throughout this season. And they're proving it again once more as Daps picks up his brace, makes it 3-1, proving to Velocity that they're not going to hold on to that momentum for very much longer.
Yeah, Jerome does such a stellar job there of just coming off that right-hand wall. They just get in a touch to himself and then making sure that pass infield to Daps was so clean and good, right? You have Vector. And just that synergy between this whole Sovereigns team is working so incredibly well. This is just Daps waited patiently there. Serenity, takes the crack shot there. Potato has to keep it out. My goodness, Velocity. You almost thought they'd have that comeback immediately though, but kept out. And oh man, the defense coming out there from Sovereigns. So close to it. Almost made it a 1-goal difference, but Velocity kept out for now. Of course, still a lot of time in regulation here in game 1. So we can see Devour and the team bring it back. Talking about Devour is going to get a bit of a hard pinch there from the corner, then kept that, and Jerome should be able to shove that out cleanly as well. Oh, Ravi almost able to take an opportunity there in the midfield. Jerome going up to contest, so he's going to keep that out. And Velocity, few and far in between, the opportunities are coming, and they're not able to just sink it at the moment.
Yeah, certainly a few heart-and-mouth moments for Sovereign's defense in the past 30 seconds to a minute, especially Potato having to take it off his own uprights to keep the Velocity offense away, starting to ramp up more and more as time goes on. They're sorting out their boost game, especially as Jerome goes up to the skies. Not quite enough boost, but Potato's already on the backboard, looking to dish this back down to Daps, who didn't want to overcommit as the third man, which is the wise decision considering their position. They don't need to risk too much going forward. A minute 30 left. Ravi back to the corner. Nice little touch. Didn't quite get the boost he was hoping for. Has enough to take it far enough for a reset. Maybe flicked it out over Daps as well. Thankfully for him, Jerome was in the perfect position to get that one back away. It's popped back to the midfield. No one wanting to commit. And Velocity having to go back to their own backboard. Potatoes there off the crossbar. They will not be able to find the fourth. And you have to say, that could have been the death knell for game 1.
Oh, it could have been, right? Potato was doing incredibly well to take that by himself as well. Second man there from Sovereigns are not able to get the dunk off that crossbar. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for Velocity. But yeah, Ravi earlier, just wish I saw him with a bit of support. Maybe second man coming in there to help him. And Velocity could have put in a second and maybe made this game 1 a little bit closer. But right now, Sovereigns are holding on to this lead. They're having a really great time of it as well, and just threatening this goalpost and back net here of Velocity and Velocity. Maybe not too many opportunities in the possession game coming their way, but it's okay. Still a bit of a long-ish series ahead of us. Yeah, you can lose maybe game 1 and when you kind of shrug it under the carpet there. Oh, Devour almost having that pot shot there, but it doesn't seem like the clock's going to be in their favor.
Not at all. Time is against them in every which way, and Sovereigns, they seem like they've already figured out Velocity's game plan. Passing into midfield, hoping that those 1-2 plays will work out. And it's just not quite coming off for Redirect Esports. They kind of got fortunate with the 1 goal that they scored. There was a lapse in judgment from Sovereign's defense. For even a moment, that can be all it takes. But they've done the due diligence on the other side of the field. They got the goals that they needed, and they held on to that lead so excellently that it seemed like Velocity very rarely at any point had a proper footing in the game. They never established a beachhead to launch off of. You see there from the field domination, not massively in favor of the Sovereigns, but it was enough. The boost consumption almost identical. It was clearly just a matter of the fundamentals being done so much better by the Sovereign outfit. Daps especially, of course, the man that we of course touted to be the better player on the field. At least the expectation was there for him to be the best player on the field. Potato outshines him in terms of points, but it was definitely a team effort. You mentioned it before. The synergy that they have, the communication and the chemistry was clear to see. It's just not quite revved up the engine enough for Velocity at the moment. Long series, still plenty of time for them to figure things out, but Sovereigns are not going to rest on their laurels.
Yeah, and you bring in those fundamentals as well. I like the number of saves that came out from Sovereign. So, you know, we did see Velocity peppering that net and just body after body being thrown in front of that ball, and the saves coming out there way in favor of Sovereigns there as well. So that's Jerome, Potato, and Daps that understand the mission, right? You also equally need to have good defense as your offense, and that worked out for them there. So taking game 1, there it is, for Templar Sovereigns going here into game 2. They want to continue that lead. They want to get through, of course, Vector to that big semi-final. But Velocity, I think they've got a lot of fans here in chat. and they've got a lot of fans at home that are rooting for them, and you and I rooting for them as well. But Ravi, Devour, Serenity, they need to do a little bit more. They need to technical timeout as well. All right, Vector. So they're having that locker room chat now. They're seeing what exactly can we do in the next 4 potential games.
Oh yeah, technical timeout is going to be one of those that maybe psychs out their opponent a little bit, try to pump the brakes on their momentum. Whether or not that has such a massive effect against such experienced players in the Master Division is something that you could debate until the cows come home, I suppose. But looking on the other side of the bracket, we see Alpha take game 1 versus Abyss. The Critical Force boys are putting the Shadow Esports outfit to the Kosh. So they're in game 2 right now, and as are we. That technical timeout, quick, short and sweet. We already find ourselves on Sovereign Heights. Velocity wanting to reset their fortunes here. The Sovereigns look to continue to do the work that they did so well in the opener. They'll not want anything to change, but that can very quickly change in Rocket League. Very much a game of balance. And if you fall out of it, you could fall out of the fortunes.
Yeah, and it's a game where, mishap can happen so incredibly quickly, right? You think you're up by 2 goals and all of a sudden you've conceded 2 and it's a draw.
Was that it? What? Serenity. Incredible demolition there. That was nailed on.
Incredible work there at the back. So Serenity is holding on to Velocity's 0-0 at the moment right now. And can we see any kind of rebuttal coming at you from Redirect Velocity as well? Potato going up for this. Can they get the dunk? Dabs is underfoot though. Nothing either there as well. So nice slow start here in game number 2 as well. Don't see Sovereign opening up the scoring just yet like we did in game number 1. Maybe. Oh, Jerome kept out.
This offensive onslaught continues. Nigh relentless from the Sovereigns. Every second, third touch is an attempt on the net, as it should be. And keep that rotation tight and vicious. It can be extremely difficult to deal with, and you can tell that they're winning the boost game. Pound for pound as Daps takes it all the way down the field. Didn't quite work out for him. Jerome to try and pick it up. Nothing in the tank. Easy enough for Ravi to get a clear out and to get back to this ball as well. Potato left out a little bit longer than he might have wanted to, and his teammates certainly wanted him to, but Jerome happy to take this across to Daps. The Sovereigns rather comfortable relatively, especially after the first man play from Velocity. They don't seem like they have all that much to follow up. Does it seem like they feel skittish or afraid to push up with 2 men and not wanting to get exploited by that counter?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's kind of scary when you got all your players upfield and then you just get that long shot, that happens to go in from the back as well. And maybe in the Masters tier here, you need to just try avoid that as well. So no one really kind of taken too many opportunities as a shot. You only see the 1 demo from Serenity, and that's all he has. And then the 1 save here from Devour as well. So no one really getting kind of pressured and pushed just yet on either side. We're rarely getting down to the business end. But there you go. Finally, to break that deadlock, Daps, he's going to open it up for us.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall there for a little bit longer than Devour hoped. Serenity with not quite enough boost to deal with the ball, and then Devour was just left in no man's land. He had nothing, absolutely zilch to do with that ball, apart from hitting it into his own net. But that was pretty much a goal regardless of his contribution. The Sovereigns once more open the scoring a little bit later than they did in the first game, as the attempt is battered away there at the top right corner. Ravi picking this up, great control, but not enough to get it past the first man. Jerome picking up that mid boost as well, which means he has the opportunity to go for the disruption. As another one gets taken out of the play, Potato will get bumped away from his own aerial. Daps to the midfield, Jerome is there, but Devour reads it well. Man that's mostly known for demos and assists gets a great stop there. As 2 players go up, forced to take this away, Jerome comes to the rescue, keeps this one away from the encroaching Velocity offense. And just as they did in the first game, they seem to be ramping up a lot more after Sovereigns have scored, but they don't have nearly as much of a cushion to deal with.
Oh my word, this is going to be wide open there for Sovereign as well. And you know what, you mentioned this as well, Vector, where everyone was up there from Velocity and just kind of the quick counter attack. I was waiting for it to explode, right, and allow Sovereigns to be able to score this goal. They do score the goal nonetheless, but it just kind of didn't happen within that split second, where we found that all 3 of Velocity's players were really high up there in that challenge. Serenity wanted to try to get the double touch and get the dunk down, and just nothing came of it. And so yeah, when you kind of way up over that halfway line, you got to be very careful to get back on D maybe very quickly, because your opponents can score quickly like that. Of course, I think within the Master tier as well, it's going to happen incredibly quick. And so there we go, 4 Templar Sovereigns. They're up by 2. That seems to be the kind of script of this play-in, at least. Maybe another
It's
one.
very much blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Kind of counter gameplay, especially up in Master. The speed is just incredible. It's like lightning. As we see another attempt here, great passing play between Daps and Jerome, stopped just about on the line by Serenity, followed up by Ravi. Did get it over Potato. Thankfully, he has his teammate back in time. Great rotation, defensive rotation there from Sovereigns to cover each other's mistakes. As this one's hurled toward the ceiling, no one willing to commit to it too soon, or maybe unable to, as the boost situation is just dire for Velocity right now. And as the final minute dawns, once again, they find themselves at a deficit. Again, back against the wall, and this would certainly be back against the wall. Should they lose this second game, they would be up against match point 3 times in a row. Sovereign's completely in control right now, and they're doing it so professionally as well. I touted before the series started, expected to be extremely high scoring. It's gone the complete opposite direction. I mean, they had 3 goals from Sovereigns in the first game, 2 now here, and it just seems like they don't necessarily need to score all that much, even though they massively outscored Velocity in their league game against each other. So it's kind of strange to see, but Velocity obviously being the victims of this situation.
Yeah, Potato, 3 shots, 1 goal there as well. That war of attrition that you mentioned earlier is going to happen, yeah, and everyone's just going to try pepper the back of the net here as well. Serenity in defense and a demo there in that rotation back as well. So just Sovereigns really just kind of controlling the pitch at the moment, holding on to this ball, getting those demos back on the rotations, just really kind of smothering Velocity at the moment. They're not allowing too much opportunities for them to get out of their own half. And there we go, ball goes down. 4 Templar Sovereigns, they take game 1, they take game 2, and they look like they're well on the way to take this series.
I think the biggest problem for Velocity right now is the inability to capitalize on mistakes. There are Sovereigns that are making plenty in terms of miscommunication and bad decision making. We've seen plenty of double commits, which aren't necessarily that bad in principle, because if 2 players are in the right place at the right time, then you could argue that they both made the right decision. But that's so easily exploitable if you have the boost game under control, which is something they obviously don't in this regard. The field domination is exactly the same, so it's not as if they aren't matching them in that aspect. They just can't quite find themselves in the right place at the right time to punish the decisions that Sovereigns are ending up making. And obviously their offense isn't working. They've been shut out in this game. They barely got one in the first. And whether or not that is the main thing that they need to focus on, or just focus more on that midfield control so they don't get exploited at the back, try and force it into an overtime and force Sovereigns to change up their gameplay style just ever so slightly. Well, it's hard to say. I'm not their coach, and I'm certainly not a Rocket League coach in general, but this is just the things that I observe. This is the things that I think are the most important in this regard, and I just hope for their sake that they are able to rally back and give us a series really to talk about, because right now, this is all going the way of Sovereigns.
Yeah, I mean, we only saw the 5 shots coming up from Velocity and only 5 shots for Ravi. Devour, Serenity putting nothing together from them as well. And things looking a little dire here for Redirect Velocity. Of course, we're already heading to match point. And so Sovereigns, they can clean this out with a 3-0. That would throw our predictions completely out the window, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter what we say.
I like to be proven wrong.
Yeah, well, it's okay, right? You know, I think Daps is like, we're going to prove the both of them wrong, and that's AAOKY. So here we go. Potential match point for Sovereigns.
Ooh, as we get into this one again, 6 seconds in, and Lapman once more for the 3rd time in a row. Daps opens the scoring for Sovereigns. Excellent performance so far. Will continue to do so. Speaking of dire, on the other side of the bracket, just wanted to quickly mention Alpha Force 2-1 up against Abyss. A sweep incoming. About 2 minutes left of that game. I'm expecting. Wait, sweep incoming? What? I think you've confused me so much there, Greybeard. Oh wait, 2-1 in the game score, not the series score. That's my mistake. Yeah, Abyss looking like the ones that are going to be going down in that other play-in, and Velocity looking to be the ones going down in this play-in as well, unless something drastic changes. Right here is a chance spurned off the right-hand upright. They just cannot find their way through, and it's getting frustrating for me. I can't imagine how bad it must be for them.
Yeah, things difficult on both series here, that one and this one, B stream and the A stream as well. Here, Devour, maybe he's going to open it at the back here. Oh, that's going to be a pixel too shy to the right. Jerome as well in active defense. They're doing a stellar job to keep him out. Demo, though, coming out there, and Velocity, just when you think you've got opportunities that you can take, though, they just seem to be thwarted here by a strong Sovereigns outfit. Potato with a gun, and a nice gun there towards the goal as well. Ravi is going to try closes out the Jerome. Oh, Jerome with the cannon. Oh man, what a shot.
And a pinch, almost a pinch, it felt like, with the sheer power coming off of this. Ravi forced to send it to the ceiling, bounces down precariously. Jerome read it like a book, knew exactly where to be and where to place it. Straight down the throat. And 2 minutes in, 2 goals scored for Sovereigns. I mean, the script is just following itself. It seems like they've wrote it themselves, Sovereigns, all the way from the beginning. This it's a far cry massively from what I expected, from what both of us expected. I thought this would go down to the wire, that it'd be completely back and forth, but maybe Sovereigns, they looked back on what worked in that prior series and what didn't, gave them that opportunity. But speaking of, Velocity dragged themselves back into this one. Incredible dunk by Serenity. Was not allowing Daps to stop that one whatsoever. Need a little bit of help from the crossbar, but they found a way through once again, Muzz, and hopefully for their sake they can try and equalize.
Yeah, you'll have to see Serenity just bullying his way over Depths as well. Very slow, 29 kilometers per hour, but that's fine because Velocity finally back on the scoreboard here. Can we see this team force the draw, force the OT, take us to that golden goal opportunity? Yeah, but already Depths putting it up. No teammate can be able to follow up then. Ravi will be able to make a comfortable save. Jerome following up there as well. Dabs here from the right-hand flank. Can he do something from this acute angle? Won't be able to. They do have Potato at the back there, just third man position. Trying to see if they can do something with it as well. Jerome to catch it over. Devour with a nice early challenge here. And Velocity, they've found a bit more venom in their step though. Oh man, it's just when you think there's going to be opportunities here, it gets kept out. Oh, and nothing coming up from Devour either.
All the steps, but the finish. All of it but the crying, it feels like, for Velocity right now. They just cannot quite finish off the chances that they create. They're getting a little bit of favor from Sovereigns every now and then when they go to the midfield. Just that slight misjudgment, mechanical misplay. Sometimes from Daps, sometimes from Potato. Jerome seems to be being left as the third man much more often than the other two, as we see a push down the field now from Devour. They went marauding through the midfield, but all it took was a single defender. Man in the Dominus, Potato with a gun. Stops them in their tracks, and now back down the other end of the field once more. Velocity on the back foot. Serenity does well enough to get it past one, but it's just right, followed straight away by Jerome, who can't quite cut the angle, but Potato can come flying in, pick up a goal of his own as well. And they do every single step right, and they exploit everything that Velocity even attempt to do. Honestly, it feels insulting that at this point it's just like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting there from Jerome, doing all that work and just allowing his teammate to follow up as well. Devour was on that near post and he did make an attempt at the save though. Nothing really happening for him there as well. So 2 minutes of regulation remaining here, Vector, and things for Velocity not looking as great as they could as well. Pot shot getting taken by Potato, and that could have been up 90, but it was kept out. And so Sovereigns having a stellar time here of this plane as well. It's just the best of 5. They want to speed run this, it would appear, and so they're going very quickly against their opponent here as well. Ravi maybe taking that opportunity, kept out as well, and Serenity coming in though for that same action. But also kept the Bay Potato hiding in that corner. Maybe it's a long one, maybe it's open, maybe it's going to go in. Well, I don't know here, Vector. Do we call it?
I always hesitate every single time something like this happens, but a goal like that in Master, where it's just bouncing, it's just rolling, so lackluster, so lackadaisical from the Velocity defense. It just seems like they've run head first, full tilt, into a fort Templar. And I don't know, they've been completely squashed against it. And like they've managed to get this one in, maybe they have a chance of the post between all 3 defenders. It's never over till it's over, Muzz. You can't count anyone out. As they managed to sneak one through, took all 3 players in fact, but just every single time, look at the boost count. All of them below 15. It's incredible they even managed to create an opportunity of that, never mind finish one. What exactly is it that they need to do to drag this back, kicking and screaming?
That seems to be the case, right? They're going to do everything in their power here, Vector, to do it kicking and screaming as well. Get some of those physical plays, get those demos. We don't really see too many kind of defenders on the goal line getting boxed out, right? In elite tier as well, that's always the, that always seems to be the case. Make a pass and see who you can bump. I haven't seen too much of that from Velocity here just yet as well. So try clear out, you know, a Daps, clear out a Jerome if you can. They didn't seem to be doing it. Also, sometimes, you know, they're just seldomly holding on to the ball, which is not really allowing them to make those kind of crucial bump goals and plays coming out there. But, you know, let's see, maybe 2 goal difference they can bring it back here. Things looking a little bit hairy for them, but maybe able to. Ravi from the corner here, can he do something with it? But already when you get cut out by Potato like that, opportunities are few and far in between.
And just that right there, that moment was a determination in my mind that luck is not in Velocity's favor. That very much nearly dropped down into the net, but off the crossbar it came, the 4th man being so much more favorable to the Sovereigns than the Velocity, and it's really all but over at this point. They've done everything right. Sovereigns, of course, they've conceded a couple goals here and there, but they've always held the lead. They've never let it slip. They've been able to control every aspect of the game, especially the boost side of things, and that's allowed them that space, that presence, and they've just took the pressure off of themselves. Every single time they go up the field, it feels like they're going to score, and it very rarely felt like Velocity had control in that regard. And, well, 2 sweeps. I'm gonna, yeah, spoilers for anybody not watching the B stream. Alpha Force took down Abyss in a 3-0 as well. They went 5-2, 1-0, and 2-1, I believe it was, by the end of it, on the other side of things. And pretty much the same story on this side. A very, very strange beginning to the Master Playoffs. I thought that this would at least go to 4. I mean, we both thought it'd go to 5. And you see a couple highlights come through here, show you just exactly what Sovereigns did to take down the Velocity. The way that they played the game was just so clean, so smooth, and so decisive, as clearly evidenced by their 3-0 victory here. Commiserations, of course, to the Redirect Esports team, but, well, Fort Templar just had it all.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at replays like that and you see Jerome just gets that perfect pass off to Daps, right, that clinches that goal. I mean, you know, it's just kind of the Sovereign side had those moments where things were incredibly clean for them. And you kind of mentioned and you said, well, is 1900 a bit too high for Daps? And, you know, do we need more of that team chemistry for Velocity? And they had it, right? Well, maybe sometimes kind of, you know, shooting with the big dogs is the way to go, right? And, you know, someone like To Die For in previous seasons where it's whatever it was, 2000, 2100, and you're just a crazy player. And there we go. Potato with the gun now, MVP. The 11 shots there, 4 goals. I mean, that's just how it went down for the Sovereigns.
Yeah, obviously we talked about Daps massively at the beginning.
Yeah.
I touted him to be that difference maker, but we always knew the potential of Potato and of Jerome, and we expected them to definitely help, if not usurp, Daps in that regard in terms of overall performance. But yeah, I think thoroughly deserved for Potato. He was so much more pivotal in so many areas of the field rather than just, well, we saw a lot of goals from Daps, of course, but you can see there from the overall post-series stats, the goals is the obvious one. 22-17, they were rather even in terms of shots. They just couldn't quite figure out what they needed to do to get them into the back of the net. And demos, only slightly more. I mean, Devour was one of the highest, I think second demos in the entire season. Didn't seem to make much difference in this best of 5, and, well, they're going to have to go home. Unfortunate loss for them. They'll, I should imagine, be disappointed in that performance, but it is what it is. We have to continue on. And we come back to our wonderful host, Greybeard. Do you have any thoughts, post-series thoughts about that one, Greybeard? The whole thing seems to be going rather quickly.
It is going well. We're back to speed running, and for the first time in playoffs, in any tier, we have had every playoff has gone a sweep on one side, or the play-ins rather have gone from a sweep on one side, a game 5 on the other side. But for the first time tonight in Master Tier, we have a double sweep. A sweep by Alpha Force on the B stream, and then a sweep here by Fort Templar. And I know Friday is going to be a very happy camper. It's been a rough season for Fort Templar, but his Master Tier doing very well, Muzz. And Potato, Daps, they're a bit of a banger out there. They got out there, they did the work. They did it with aplomb and efficiency.
Yeah, no, they did. They absolutely cleaned things up, right? I mean, Greybeard, the only way when you go 3-0 is just efficiency. And I think what we see 9 goals to 3, right, Vectors? So, yeah, the shots were definitely much higher, but the accuracy maybe a little bit low for this type of tier. But that doesn't matter, right? You won by 6 goals, and that's AOK. Even though field dom was the same, even though possession was the same, it seems like Sovereigns, when they had that ball, they could just make it count a lot more.
So there were 6 teams at the start of tonight, all vying for the championship status and winning their share of 6,000 Rand prize pool. We are now down to just 4. And next up on our stream, we are going to be having Alpha Force, who are going to be taking on DSQ Mirum. And Vector, I don't know how close you've been following things, but DSQ finishing top franchise for the season after league play, but having a bit of a struggle, not securing, not pushing the advantage into playoff victories.
Oh no, not quite. They have, of course, finished first in the entire division, only by a single game. They, I think, in their last 5 results, they got a few draws as well. So not the strongest finish for them, but you've got to give the credit to them. Only team alongside Kings, of course, one of the 2 teams that didn't lose the entire season. It was always wins and draws. So they've clearly shown their pedigree already, and I expect them to continue to do that here against Alpha Force. But they aren't warmed up. I said the exact same thing last night in the semi-final that I casted. Queens, I can't remember who the other team was, but the Queens were already warmed up. They'd already played their first series, I believe it was. So they had that momentum going into this into that series, and of course Alpha Force will be doing the exact same thing. Only in a sweep, they've not played as much, maybe not quite as warmed up as they might hope to be, but I think Mirum are ready and waiting. They've been waiting long enough, and they want to prove why they still deserve to be here and that they deserve to go up to the grand final.
And you spoke about the draws, but it was kind of interesting that both Kings and Mirum are undefeated for the season, but a lot of draws, 5 and 4 between them. That's a lot of draws going on, but no losses, which is amazing. So certainly more value in a draw, as we know. All right, Muzz, it looks like you can clock out now. As we go forward to the next series. Vector is going to stay with us and is going to be joined by Mr. Big Chebs. But let's have a look at our bracket. This is where we were at the start. Play-ins are now done. Play-ins are a thing of the past. 2 sweeps over on the B stream. Abyss were swept by Alpha Force, and over here on the A stream, Sovereigns sweeping Velocity, which means the Kings are going to be playing Sovereigns and Mirum are going to be playing Alpha Force. So Mirum, I mean, you talk about the advantage of having played a game, Vector, like you're already in and warmed up. And sure, when you're the waiting team in semi-finals, you're probably scrimming or free playing or whatever it is, but it's not quite the same thing as competitive warm-up.
No, it's exactly what I would have said if you hadn't said it. It's not quite the same thing. In a competitive sense, you want to be the team that has that win under your belt already on a knockout situation. It's in my opinion, league play is a marathon and playoffs is a sprint, so you want it to get going as quickly as you possibly can. That all comes down to the individual player, the individual team, how they prepare and how exactly they motivate themselves and give themselves that discipline in terms of performance and play style. But it is a best of 7, so they will have that time to warm up should they not already be. Alpha Force maybe a little bit more fatigued overall in the series should it go the distance. I'm expecting it to go pretty far, but I just hope for the sake of everybody watching at home that it isn't a washover as we've seen in the play-ins. It was still mesmerizing to see that bracket. It was unbelievable that we've got that, and in a master tier of all places, you'd think it'd be the most competitive as we've seen throughout the season. But I just hope to see some fireworks, some highlight reel plays. That's what we're all here for.
Big Jabs, welcome in, and we often talk about the change from the 4-game format into playoff, which is different. Best of 7, a best of 7, very different to the 4-game thing. But this is master tier. These are guys who make their bread and butter is best of 7s.
Yeah, these are players that have played in games outside of RSC. They've been around seasons before, and they know exactly when to lock in a series. They know how to clear and finish out a series and get those wins. They know how to come back from being down. We might see reverse sweeps. We might see this and that. And these are the players that have done it before and know what they need to do.
Well, gentlemen, it's up to you to call the action and bring us a semi-final winner. Bring us a potential champion. Over to you, Vector and Chebs.
Cross all your fingers, cross all your toes for one of the better series of the night, hopefully. I mean, it happens quite a lot, Chebs, where sometimes the semi-final is bigger and better than the actual grand final. Whether or not that's going to be the case tonight, I don't know. The play-ins haven't gone the way we expected. But I'm just hoping for everybody's sake, for our sake especially. I'd just love to cast over the incredible tight series where you just have no idea which side is going to win. And DSQ versus Critical Force. I mean, how do you decide it? How do you separate the two? Because in my research, what I've done before, these two, again, I'll mention it, all the way back in week 2, they matched each other stride for stride. They went 2-2. They could not be separated. It was game after game, in fact, and relatively low scoring overall. And I believe this one, I think, Miram 4-2 for me for Alpha Force. I'm hesitant in that prediction, but that's what I'm going to go for.
I'm also going to go with Miram, but I think that Critical Force have the ability to kind of match them. We saw it in week 2. They've just come off the back of their sweep and play-in, so I think they'll be able to match them. But I think Miram have the quality to push it that little bit further, so I think 4-3 is what I'm going to go with.
It's a bold prediction. It's obviously hard to say. I mentioned it before with on the opposite side of things. With Sovereigns of Velocity, they obviously matched each other in league play as well, and we just saw what happened there. It can be completely different situations. Sovereigns pushed aside Velocity like they were barely even there, and it was a long time ago, week 2. So I'm expecting things to be relatively different, especially in a best of 7. In Knockout Rocket League, your mentality changes, especially if you haven't had that much time on stream as well. Those nerves are real. They are definitely an effect. They have a big difference maker on the field, so I'm expecting that to be a factor. As we see here, the roster lineups, DSQ Esports to start us off with Miram. We have Zeph, Gold Ninja, Jeff, and Arid down there as the captain. I'm not entirely sure who the main roster is. I would assume it's the top 3 players, but sometimes you just have more chemistry with a certain lineup, and I'm expecting whichever side comes out tonight to be ready and willing to really give us a show.
100% players we've seen throughout the season performing well. I mean, winning double of the games that they lost, so a very, very good ratio, 67% win rate, which is why we see them so far into play-ins and into playoffs, getting that bye into the next round. So very solid roster, definitely going to be putting up a good fight in this game, but Critical Force as well, going to be a team that might cause them some problems.
She'll certainly be hoping to cause them some problems, as you said, as we bring up the roster on Velocity. Not Velocity, Alpha Force, my mistake. I'm still back in the play-ins. I'm still confused. I thought we were still in that series. It happened so quickly. As you can see here, the balance of the CMV is a little bit more even, a little bit more molded in that regard. All players in the 1700 CMV range, Friction, Bigfoot, Scraffy, and Lackstar. And 2-6-1 as a record, win, draw, and loss. They have plenty of draws throughout the season, so that shows a competitive streak, but maybe not quite as consistent as they hoped. Of course, they did finish down in 5th with just 20 game wins, matching Strive for Strivers, Sovereigns, and Abyss. So they could have easily been in 4th or 3rd just based on a toss-up in terms of head-to-head play-ins and head-to-head goal difference. But they have the highest goal difference of the middling teams, 13, Velocity just behind them at 12. So they have that under their belts. They are the least conceded least scored upon team in the top 6, apart from Miram right at the top. So I'm expecting them to be more defensive, more conservative as they go down the field. But I'm just hoping for it to be a back and forth, a swing sets kind of series, as we see both teams match each other stride for stride, punch for punch. But yeah, let's get underway with the semi-finals. The first one of the night, Miram versus Alpha Force, DSQ and Critical Force match one another once again on the field. They did not see each other and since week 2, very, very long time ago. Now they see each other once more in a do or die situation. Whichever team ends up taking it will go to the grand final and a chance of taking down that big prize pool of shared 6,000 rand, 4,000 to the winner, 2,000 to the runner-up. But we're still going to get there, Big Chebs. They're still thinking about the here and now rather than thinking forward. At least I hope they should be.
Still got a whole best of 7 ahead of them, and it really will be looking forward from this series. The winners of this one will definitely be getting some of that prize pool, and I'm sure both of them want a piece of that action. So definitely going to be the game to watch at the moment, as Miram already stuck back in their own half. Pushing forward into Alpha Force's half as they're trying to get something going early in this game. But Alpha Force, coming off the back of that previous series, might be looking to get the first goal. No, cleared away by Jeff in the end. Is going to end up still in their own half. Shot on target is just about saved yet again by Jeff, and Jeff keeping his team in it this early on.
Oh, I've already seen something that's going to throw me off. Friction's got a purple car, but he's on the white team. That's going to get me. That's going to get me a couple times. I can feel it as he picks up the ball in the midfield here. 30 boost to his name as we see Jeff just taking a little break on that front post there. Maybe a technical issue for them. A temporary 3v2 in favor of Alpha Force, but they're not yet to capitalize as Miram keeps it in the white half of the field. Pass across. Zeph is there, going to take a pot shot to the top right, easy enough for them to deal with. Zeph to pick it up once more. Friction's going to be the first man, followed up by Bigfoot as that one's going to be popped off of his car, the bottom of him, almost like a pogo. Didn't quite come off, hit the crossbar as you see Jeff return to the play. I don't know how Miram even managed to keep it in the white half in a 3v2, but they almost scored off of it.
Yeah, Zeph with almost a crazy goal. Maybe luck, maybe complete skill, but worked out in the end and maybe might get this one this time. No, it's just about cleared away. Jeff now coming back from that slight technical issue, might be going all the way towards the net. No, hits the post, and Zeph doesn't want to commit onto that one and leaves it for the Alpha Force team to clear away. And Miram definitely with the best of the opportunities so far. A couple opportunities maybe might brew it if Alpha Force are able to get anything going down at the other end, but Miram doing well at the moment to keep it down the side of Alpha Force as they're trying to get something into the middle. Jeff across, but Lackstar is there to cut that one out, and Zeph back across into the middle, but again no one really from Miram with the boost to commit to any of these attacks at the moment.
They have the possession, they have the control. They don't necessarily need to worry too much about Alpha Force's ability to counter should they maintain that boost management game. But really, Alpha Force have kind of been bailed out by the fourth man, by their uprights. The couple chances that Miram missed were narrowly done so, and it's really just a matter of misfortune, it seems like, for the DSQ outfit. As they're forced back into their own half, Jeff with a uncharacteristic miss to the corner, not capitalized upon. I doubt anyone from Alpha Force was expecting it, much less ready for it. Zeph sends it hurtling towards the backboard. Friction was ready to deal with it, but not needed at the moment as Gold Ninja looks to corral this into the top right corner once again. Miram cannot find their way through, and as the final minute approaches, it's really been just a game of moments that they couldn't quite find their way through. As I said, misfortune before, but Alpha Force will be looking at it very much like hopefully not, at least a gift horse in the mouth. They'll have to start pushing down the field should they hope to avoid an overtime here. Because if they don't, I feel like Miram could take it just based off of chances created.
Yeah, Miram definitely sitting reasonably in control at the moment, holding most of the pressure, holding most of the possession, but all Alpha Force need is one mistake to capitalise on and really just change how this game has gone so far. But Miram still trying to pile on the pressure at the moment, and that one's going to be a looper, but it's just about saved out by Zeph. You expect him to save it but sometimes you never know, and that one's a whiff, but is cleared out by Friction, keeping up with his teammate. Now Laxter up onto the backboard. No, Jeff coming off the ceiling and clearing that one away, but this time Alpha Force finally holding a little bit of pressure, but not able to find anything from it. And now Jeff trying to come forward. Gold Ninja with a bump, leaves it for Zeph, who's going to send that one goalwards. Just 3 seconds left. Miram have the final opportunity of the regulation time, but no, game 1, we're going to overtime.
And to anyone that trusts the numbers, that's been following along this season with the statistics, this should be no great surprise. These are 2 top performing defensive teams throughout the Master Division. A 0-0 is not incredibly strange to see, especially in the opening game of a best of 7. They're still filling each other out, of course. It's not for want of trying. Miram have tried and tried again, still not quite able to succeed. But this is the last man left begging, as Alpha Force can't quite get this one away in time, as it's going to go bounding across the net once again. That's going to bounce so awkwardly for the Critical Force defense to deal with. I thought they were lucky of this coming off the side post, but then somehow just the orientation of the ball hits the inside of the upper right corner, bounces straight back into the danger area, and Gold Ninja is right there ready and waiting to take that one in a very, very quick overtime. That's a crazy start to this series, and not only not the only overtime that we've got in the semi-finals as well. Over on the B stream, the Kings and the Sovereigns 2-2. And, well, it's a massive far cry from the play-ins, Big Ches. We had 2 sweeps on the bounce, and now we've got 2 overtimes in the opening games at the best of 7s. What's going on?
It's much better to see when you get to the business end of a season, seeing much closer series. This is what you want. You want the competition to thrive, and that's what we're seeing at the moment here in these semi-finals. But here and now, Miram definitely sitting quite comfortable, I think, in that game number 1.
I mean, comfortable may be the wrong word. They were hanging on for a long time. I mean, they weren't the ones hanging on. They were just sort of hanging on to hope that they would actually finally get one through. And by the time the overtime hit, they still, again, had to ride that luck and that fortune of it bouncing just precariously enough into the midfield that Critical Force couldn't deal with it. It made sense based on what we know about these 2 teams that defense was the thing that stood out the most, especially specifically for Critical Force there. But it's not enough in the end. You have to score. You have to go out and take the risk of pushing forward and making the difference. Didn't quite work out for them in that instance, but there's still plenty of series left to play as we find ourselves here on Game 2 on Sovereign Heights. And will this be the ladder that they required to climb to get back into this series and really start pushing out? Maybe that is the thing that unlocks them, rather than sitting back too much and being too defensive. Be proactive, push up down the field, make sure they control that midfield line, and really start to put it up to Miram and force them to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, definitely trying to just get this ball out of their half, because that's what we've been seeing Miram do. And this time, after opening the floodgates in overtime in game number 1, get their second just 27 seconds into game number 2, taking the lead yet again. And this time, much easier to work out than the game 1.
Yeah, wasting no time at all this one round. As Gold Ninja scored the winner in the first, and scores the first in the second. Zeph and Jeff both go up to try and commit to this one. And the commitment by the third man, Gold Ninja, might not have been the best decision, as Bigfoot to the backboard. Jeff's going to miss it. Can they follow up? Yes, they can. Lackstar comes following through to get that equalizer in relatively quick succession. Not even 20 seconds later, they've managed to equalize and bring this back to parity. Exactly what they'll have been looking for. And as you said, the floodgates really start to open now. They've figured each other out. They've scouted and observed what exactly it was they needed to do to beat each other, and this is when they put it to the test. On the second game, they will be looking to outscore each other emphatically, I should imagine, as Bigfoot tries to push this past the first man. Jeff committed, so did Gold Ninja. He jumped up, but Friction, a little bit of time to work with. Lackstar on the backboard, there was no one there, so he could have passed it down easily, but mechanical error allows Miram to get straight back out on the counter.
Yeah, Alpha Force starting to play a little bit more physical. You see it a lot with 2 defensive teams. One team starts to realise that if you can cause a bit of chaos on that back line, that's how you can get a goal. And for Alpha Force's first goal, Gold Ninja got absolutely obliterated on that front post, gave the Alpha Force the chance to put a goal away. But One goal won't be enough in this game number 2. Of course, are going to have to score again at some point to keep this game in their hands. But Mirum trying to come forward now. Jeff up onto the backboard. No, cleared out by Bigfoot, cutting that one out early. But now GoldNinja's going to pick this one up. Tries to go under Laxter, does manage to, but Friction is there to cut it out. Is going to follow this one down the right-hand side. 2 players for Mirum, a little bit awkward in that corner, but GoldNinja does well to keep the ball away from net, away from danger. As Laxter is going to leave this one for Bigfoot. He's going to bring this one down. Goes for a pass, but Friction, I don't think, was in the loop for that one and never went for it. And Alpha Force give the ball back to the Mirum team. Now Bigfoot off his own backboard, trying to come forward. Blocked out by Zeph, but Laxter still there. Friction on target, will find a goal. No, GoldNinja, incredible save to keep that one out and we stay at a tied game.
Great stop to maintain equality in this second game of the series, and it was a prescient point you made about the disruption when 2 defensive teams recognize that what may be necessary is just taking out the other team, taking them out of the field, something unique to the Rocket League game. If you don't like your opponent, just blow them up, just demolish them. And that over-reliance sometimes, the comfortability you can have, the safety net of a defensive rotation that you can trust implicitly. When you trust your teammates so much, you have that comfortableness to push up the field and take more risks, become more confident. It can also be a double-edged sword. You can over-rely on it, as Laxter is having to rely on his teammate to come to his rescue there, take that away from the encroaching offense of Mirum once more. They're just about dealing with it. It's tooth and nail. It's held together by duct tape and dreams, but they're just about managing to hold on as they did in the first. A little bit more confidence this time round. They've got one on the board, that's enough, as they will look to push forward after this follow-up stint from Mirum. But will it not be enough, as that was not quite dealt with well enough, but Zeph didn't get the power that he was looking for, and we see Jeff take another little vacation.
Yeah, something seems to be up with Jeff's connection at the moment, but Mirum, they obviously, yeah, just a little pit stop between halves. He seems to be back now, so that's no problem, but might be a problem.
This time.
Very much punished them this time, as Alpha Force find the top corner after Jeff having to recover from his little tactical timer, and finds a great finish to slot that one away from all the defenders.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Mirum. He was back in time, and you thought it might not have affected their ability to keep this game at 1-1. But Friction managed to get a little bit of fortune there. Bounced off the top right, physics came into play, and they do have their first lead of the series, looking to hold on to it with very, very little time left in the second game, as Laxter with the reset, nothing to do with it, however, and Jeff trying to get it past the last man, but nothing in the tank. Means his opportunity goes begging. Now back down the midfield line, Zeph to try and pick this one up, looking for the pinch, but Bigfoot gonna be in the way. Solid Bastion stops him in his tracks. Bigfoot this time on the front foot, pushes forward with the flick to the backboard. Can they find the follow-up? Friction can indeed. Gets that second goal, gets that security. With 15 seconds left, this one is all but over on Sovereign Heights. Can Mirum find a miracle to drag it back?
We will see. Mirum just a little bit not ready for that attack from Alpha Force, a little bit awkward on that front post. It meant that the back post was pretty open in the end. But this time we see Mirum trying to come forward to try and get something back in this game, but 2 goals in 2 seconds doesn't look like it will be done, as we're going towards game number 3 at a level playing fields. Both teams have shown they can score, both teams have shown they can win, but now we're down to what we saw in play-ins. We're back down to basically a best of 5.
Certainly are, as well. Technical issues, it seemed to be the downfall of Mirum there. Of course, they didn't have that cushion from in the first game anyway. It went to an overtime. They sort of did in this one. Quick response from Critical Force is what kept them in the game, and then that unfortunate, as you said, tactical timeout from Jeff didn't quite work out in their favor, and that go-ahead goal gave them the confidence to push forward even more, and allowed Friction to pick up his brace as well. 2 goals off 3 shots, and Well, they'll certainly not be looking at it as a negative thing for their sakes. Hopefully, for DSQ, they won't be having too many technical issues throughout the season. We want it to take the competitiveness of it, but that's just sometimes how the dice rolls, and you've got to deal with it in the moment. It didn't quite affect them in the first game. It has in the second one, and we will have to move forward and hope for the best. In that regard, unless they want to make a substitution, they've got that option. They could do that and bring in another player should it get too bad, too much to deal with. Hopefully that won't be the case, but got to give it to Critical Force. They definitely took it in their stride and made sure they weren't affected by that, because ironically it can kind of affect you as a team on the opposite side as well. There's a bit of that sympathy of feeling like, if imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, would you be a little bit less merciful or more merciful? It's hard to say. It comes down to the individual player, but in this regard, competitive Rocket League, really you can't afford to take your foot off the gas.
Especially in times like this, in the playoffs of RSC, and this is where the last 9 weeks have been leading us. Going into the playoffs, Friction is going to have to clear this one away though, as Miram trying to come forwards, a little bit awkward. Jeff not able to get on the end of it. Gold Ninja only able to send it to his backboard, but Zeph is able to clear that one out, only as far as Laxter. But again, only as far as the Miram midfield, as they're still trying to get something going forwards. Block onto Friction's clearance, they'll be heading towards the post. Bigfoot does well to get a touch onto that one, and this one's going to be heading all the way back towards the Miram half. Laxter trying to dunk this one into the middle, but a good touch from Zeph clears this one out. Jeff trying to follow up on it, trying to leave it for his teammate, but doesn't manage to get it on target. Zeph now cutting into that play, trying to get something still going forward towards this Alpha Force net. The bumps coming in as Jeff is trying to get something down into the middle, but Friction cuts that one out. And Gold Ninja straight away clamping onto this one, and Miram doing really well to kind of hold this pressure, despite Alpha Force actually doing quite well to get some interceptions on the ball. Miram were able to come straight back in and win the ball back.
Yeah, they're certainly getting a little more rowdy, a little more rough around the field. And it certainly seems to be paying dividends as Jeff, I believe, finds his first goal of the series. And off of, as you said, great pressure from Gold Ninja there, even with very little boost in the tank, was not willing to let up and pushed ever forward to keep that momentum going in their favor, that offensive push. It's not always just about winning the ball or beating your opponent straight up. Sometimes just being in their face, that sheer presence and that psychological factor of always just being on your opponent's shoulder and making them think twice, making them hesitate, can be so devastating. And it certainly worked out in Miram's favor there, taking that lead, and they'll be wanting to hold on to it a little bit longer than they did in the second game. Should Alpha Force find a way to break that hope, it certainly shall. Bigfoot looking to send a Hail Mary to the top right corner of the Miram net, didn't quite work out. Jeff, teammate, forced to deal with this. Friction picks it up once again, cutting those early rotations, trying to keep that pressure on again. He's going to be the first man once more as Laxtar's left out of the play. Bigfoot to pick it up. Friction going to look to find Fake, maybe, as Bigfoot with a free shot. Zeph just about in the right place to deal with both situations there, but it's going to come rotating back around, and they just couldn't quite deal with it well enough. Friction finds his third goal of the series and brings it straight back to parity once again. Halfway mark, game's the same. It's really looking like a well-matched, well-oiled series.
Yeah, some great pressure from the side of Alpha Force, and both teams showing how well they can hold pressure against these opponents. When you're playing against a defensive team like this, when you're a defensive team yourself, you know the kind of opportunities you can go for, and Bigfoot taking that one in his stride, off the bounce off the ceiling, and then following it all the way into that top right-hand corner to take his team into the lead of this game number 3. And yeah, an incredible goal from Bigfoot to really sit his team a little bit more in front in the series.
I think that's the most outright mechanical goal we've seen tonight. I've not seen many double tap finishes as Friction pierces the top right corner once again. They're really starting to find a favor of that top right, finishing with a plum. I mean, just, well, it didn't quite hit it perfectly. A little bit of net but it's in the top right. That's certainly working in Friction's favor. He got one of those in the second game as well. And now 3-1. Got that cushion once again. Something to be so desperate to hold on to, but in quick succession as this one finds its way through somehow. Sort of an own goal. Jeff put enough pressure on from the ceiling. Didn't quite get the shot that he probably was looking for. Maybe wanted the reset as well, as Lackstar ends up directing this into his own bottom left corner. Certainly not what they were hoping to see, or hoping to do, considering their position in this series. They'll be wanting to take that this third game in stride, I'm sure. But you've got to start cutting out mistakes like that early. You can't let that get to you and really start letting that mentality set in, or it'll hurt you so much more in the long run.
Yeah, Alpha Force just got to bounce back from that one. They're still in the lead of this game, and sits them to take a little bit more of a gap in this series. So it's just about keeping those mentals going forward in this game to keep that lead and get themselves sitting at a 1-game lead going forward into the series. And this might be an opportunity to extend that lead. Just about cleared out by the side of Miram, and now Jeff trying to bring this one forward. Bigfoot, good block onto the clearance, and still trying to push this one towards the Miram net, but Jeff just maybe able to pick this one up. No, Jeff comes across and grabs that. This time they give Bigfoot a little bit too much space, and this shot leaves a little bit to be desired, but is just about cleared out by the side of Miram. And now Gold Ninja going to pick this one up. No boost to work with, is going to end up very, very awkward, and Friction is going to push that one straight over the top with a good 50. Realizes the Gold Ninja is very, very awkward. No boost to work with, not able to get the flick off, and Friction pounces straight onto that one to tuck away Alpha Force's fourth.
And Gold Ninja committing one of the cardinal sins for a defender, trying to dribble it out and away from your own net, especially on zero boost. Maybe he was just hoping, but certainly went against him in that instance. Gets dunked on and returns the 2-goal lead to Alpha Force with barely any time left on the clock. It's a very similar shade to the situation on Sovereign Heights. Miram find themselves in an awkward position, but Gold Ninja wanting to make up for his prior defensive mistakes. Gets this one through off of Bigfoot's touch, and that was a loose, flimsy touch off the sidewall as well. Really could have done so much better. And lackluster in that attempt to stop the ball. Did well enough, but, well, not well enough, evidently, as it's allowed Miram to get back into this game, give themselves an opportunity to, at the very least, possibly get a buzzer beater with 30 seconds left. Every second that ticks away is more and more in Lackstar and Critical Force's favor. It's just a game of redemption, it seems like. Big Jeps. Gold Ninja made a mistake, then he scores. Lackstar makes a mistake, well, not technically a mistake, but couldn't get the save, and now he goes up the other field and gets other side of the field and gets a goal. It's a lot more back and forth and a lot more high scoring than it has been throughout the rest of the series, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, both teams definitely upping the ante in this game number 3, and hopefully keeping this going as the series goes on. But players definitely trying to redeem themselves, whether it's on purpose or whether it's coincidence. We will definitely see. But Gold Ninja Demo on this side will, again, still in this situation we saw them in last game, where they had to get 2 goals with no time on the clock, and that meant they basically gave up before the game had ended. If there's 1 goal in it, you play a little bit more aggressive trying to get that goal, but when there's 2, you know there's not a lot you can do about it, and that's where we see Miram in this situation here in game number 3, and Critical Force take that game. And going into game number 4, Miram, they haven't really looked too problematic. There just seems to be a few situations where Critical Force are able to kind of capitalize on the tiniest of mistakes from their rotations.
Absolutely. I mean, you could tell that just based on the boost consumption, almost 2,000 more for Alpha Force. They clearly have had control of it. Less field domination, but I mean, it really doesn't matter if you don't have the ball. If the ball spends the most amount of time in your opponent's net, 5 goals to 3. And plenty more shots as well. So they've clearly got the better of things on the offensive side, which, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily expect to see considering their defensive acumen throughout this season based on the statistics that we have from them. As we see a technical timeout from, I'm not sure which side it is, but One of the sides wanted to, well, not wanted to, having to, it feels like, and it's from Miram. I would assume it's something to do with Jeff. We didn't see in the last game that he actually ended up stopping for that, but it may just be something they need to quickly sort out. And, well, I wouldn't put it past them. They've just dropped 2 games in a row. They'll be desperate to have any sort of respite.
I think it's a mixture of both of those things. 2 games on the bounce, both in more than 1 goal deficit, so it's always not the easiest of ones to lose, and losing 2 on the bounce plus Jeff having a few little technical problems, I think that's why a timeout was called. So looking into this series, Vector, is there anything you think from the side of Miram they need to do to kind of push back against what Critical Force are pushing against them at the moment?
Well, it's always hard to say from an outside perspective, simply because we just don't know what the communications are like, what the energy is like, whether or not they had a effective scrim, because it can be a lot of the times where teams sort of are sort of lackadaisical in that they don't take it as seriously as maybe they should. I don't necessarily think that is the case for Miram, but I've seen it happen before where they just don't take it as seriously as you would assume that they would in a playoff situation like this when there's a lot on the line, and they just think, oh, we'll just wing it, we'll just go with it, with probably the best team in the tier, we can deal with whatever gets thrown at us, and then they just get hit by a blindside. In this case, in the form of Alpha Force, where they only just barely won the first game, Miram. That was very much a coin flip. Both of them fought tooth and nail to get to that overtime, and it just didn't quite fall Alpha Force's way. Last 2 games, as you said, they've won by at least 2 goals, and they've been managing to outscore them emphatically in every part of the field. It seems like they've had the majority of the control, and because of that, for Miram's sake, it feels more like a mental reset than a technical timeout. I mean, it obviously is a technical timeout. They've been plagued by that, and that kind of have a psychological effect. But for their sake, they're a very, very, very good team. They haven't lost this season at all, completely. They haven't lost the series, and they still have that in their back pockets. They can still rely on that. Whether or not that has bred some hubris, some complacency, it's very, very difficult to say, Big Chevs. But I think it'll be more obvious once we've seen a couple more games played, and should Alpha Force take this next game, of course they would be on match point, and that would be dire straits for Miram, to say the least.
Yeah, so we are going to see that substitution coming out after that timeout. Jeff having those technical issues, and we're going to see the sub come in for him, and that could change the game for the side of Miram.
Certainly could, as we see Arid, the captain of the DSQ Miram team, coming in to substitute to save potentially this entire series, at the very least game 4. We're hoping to do that. Not warmed up at all, I should imagine, getting thrown into the wolf's den, and really just hoping that he's able to survive, if not thrive. But I'm sure they've played fairly enough games with him being the captain throughout this season. He knows how his team works. He knows what their strengths and weaknesses are. We'll be looking to exploit those here on Forbidden Temple. Up against it, but, you know, cornered animal is the most dangerous, Big Cheb, so we'll have to see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they've got enough experience playing as a team, and going into this one, they've got to use that experience as much as they can. But only time will tell for the side of Miram, and at the moment, they seem to be looking a little bit better as GoldEngine, great shot on target, but an even better save from Friction. Bicycle save in the end, and just about keeping Alpha Force still equal pegging in this game. Now Arid trying to get something forwards. No, Friction does really well to get that one over the top, but this time leaves Laxter with so much space, but GoldEngine throwing himself at that one to keep that shot out. This time again, just about squeezing that one away from any danger. Zeph going to pick this one up on the wall. No boost to work with. Friction's going to try and force that one past him. Just about saved out yet again. And Laxter on that back wall. Not too much boost. Is going to get a 50 against Arid. Zeph's going to get bumped on his way back. That's going to leave him awkward. And Friction capitalizes on that. Tucks that one away. And again, Alpha Force taking the lead. This time, I think... Is this for the first time this series? I feel like Miram have scored the first goal in every game. Or am I telling porkies?
I believe you're right about that. I don't think they've scored the first goal apart from this this game. We could both be wrong. We could both be right. It's hard to say. Our memories are a bit shot. But all that matters, of course, is it means that Alpha Force are once more in the driver's seat, and Mirim's, well, it's not their attempt to change things up. Their hand has essentially been forced, having to substitute Jeff out for technical reasons, and bring Arid in, who is not quite as warmed up as his teammate. It's an incredible stop there from Bigfoot to keep this one in their favor off his own uprights. That one forced to be not quite enough boost. I think, yeah, Bigfoot and Lackstar didn't have any boost for like 20 seconds there. And Friction was the one that had to pick up the slack as he gets sent to the stratosphere. Didn't quite work in Mirim's favor. Back down there into the field, Zeph with plenty of boost and space in the skies to work with. Maybe looking for the pass, maybe overshot it a little bit. That miscommunication coming through, which may be a sign of things to show what has been happening, what's been going wrong for Mirim. Their miscommunication could be a biggest factor. But this one, Hail Mary shot up to the top right, not followed up.
I think we're live. I'm not sure.
I was hoping it wasn't just me, as we see nothing has changed within the game. We had a little bit of a lapse in coverage there for a moment. Thankfully, nothing has actually changed in the game itself. Just a few seconds have ticked off. And as we see Bigfoot and Alpha Force try to push forward to try and secure that second goal once again, they will require that cushion. Mirim are not pushovers. They are just as likely to score a goal as their opponents, despite the fact that their fortunes have not favored them previously. As the final minute dawns. Oh, they actually do have a goal on the board. Never mind, my mistake. It is an equal game, Chebs, which means something did change while. Not on target, unfortunately, for Mirim. They have been caught out once again. This one should be going towards it, though. Gold not quite in the right place, and just about in time, Friction gets back to prevent equality once more. They cannot equalize, and up against it, Mirim find themselves. Should they falter, should they fail here, they will be down to match point. 3 games on the bounce they would have to win. 10 seconds left, still an opportunity here. A buzzer beater on the cards potentially as Friction and Bigfoot collide to try and just do anything, get some presence on this ball as it's sent hurtling back towards an offending player. It's just going to be spiked by Lackstar, and despite the technical difficulties, it will be Alpha Force to take game 4 and take us to match point here in this semi-final. And those such incredible stats you can see there, Big Chebs. All about the goals. That's all that matters as Alpha Force take down Mirim. And, well, it's not going my way. I thought it'd be 4-2 to Mirim throughout this series. That prediction's gone. That's out the window, just like everything else. And, well, hopefully, for DSQ's sake, not their hopes and dreams, because there's still an opportunity, still a chance for them to bring this one back. But every single time that Alpha Force score, it looks less and less likely.
Yeah, they're just looking really confident going forward now, and Mirim just looking that little bit worried whenever Alpha Force seem to come forward. Friction seems to be picking up on every single tiny mistake that Mirim are making and capitalizing on them every single time. We saw it in pretty much every game so far, where he's just able to notice one little mistake. We saw that the first one that springs out is that Gold Ninja mistake where he ended up a little bit awkward on that front. Friction straight in, banging that one off the top of his car straight in to the back of the net, and Friction's just been doing it all game. Anytime he sees any mistake, he's capitalizing on it, and that's one of the main things that is really forcing Mirim to play that little bit more difficult round the back. They just end up a little bit awkward, and that's just being capitalized on by Alpha Force.
Well, friction means fire, and he's certainly burning up the field tonight as we find ourselves on Wasteland for potentially the 5th and final game of this semi-final. Miram completely up against it in every which way you could imagine. But they're not done yet as they open the scoring here in rapid fashion. 15 seconds in, they will be looking to continue this scoring, I'm sure. As Jeff, great pressure pushing on there to create that space and make sure that no defender was in immediate position to deal with this shot. Gold Ninja opens his scoring account here on game 5 as we see Jeff brought back in a resubstitution. Arid was taken out, but they didn't quite work out in their favor in the prior game. Despite the fact that they held on to a roughly equal game for the majority of it, they ended up losing out at the very end. They crumbled, but they brought Jeff back in, and I saw for just a moment a lapse there that he stopped moving again. So I don't think that their technical woes are quite over just yet.
No, maybe they've just made this decision that even with those technical problems, this might still be their best way forwards. As at the moment, they are sitting in the lead in game number 5, and at the moment, Jeff being that one to push that, push his team forwards. But yes, the technical problems will be one that we have to keep an eye on from the side of Miram. But if that is the decision that the team have made, then that must be the one that they're happy with. Jeff now going for a musty into the middle is just about cleared away, and just going to try and chase this one all the way back. Bigfoot popping it up to Friction, who gets that shot on target. But Jeff now trying to bring this one forward, flick into the middle. Gold Ninja towards the front post, but just about kept out by the 4th man for Alpha Force, being the Woodwork, as they currently still need this goal to tie back up the game, as Miram are keeping this pressure going forwards. Blackster across net, but just about keeping possession. Back into the middle from the side of Miram. And I can't even see who that is. Zeph.
Oh.
Incredible play over the top of Blackster. Even better save to keep that one out. As now, 3rd man from Miram, a little bit over pressured. Jeff, incredible save to keep that one out. And both teams just about, they're known for their defensive work and really proving it in this game. But finally someone cracks and Jeff tucks that one away.
Something's got to give. You can't have too many miracles in 1 minute. As we saw some incredible, spectacular offensive and defensive plays from both sides. Eventually, one of them had to go in. As Jeff opens his account, almost halfway through this 5th game, they finally have a 2-goal lead, their first of the series. And now they're just wanting to look to hold on to it. I mean, obviously they'll be wanting to pad their stats and push it even further. But in the position they're in, it's a very, very big risk to take. We know how strong Alpha Force can be once they get rolling. It just seems to come thick and fast, constantly, one after another, especially towards the end of games. In the final minute or so, they really step it up. They recognize that time pressure and how much it can affect their opponents, and they step upon it so viciously. But Miram, they've got that in their locker too, as Jeff, looking to find his 2nd goal of the game, stopped just about on the line by Bigfoot. Tries to follow up once more as that 3rd man not wanting to commit too much, like Star off the side wall, not quite enough boost to find his way back to it. Does disrupt the clearance for the moment. And they're just about getting to the midfield line. Miram, no follow-up touch means that Friction, I think he assumed someone was going to get a touch there and completely with the wall as a result, but a big demo should open up space for Zeph to flick it over, but incredible stop there from Friction. Gets it away off the line and keeps this one close.
Yeah, incredible save yet again, and both teams really showing their prowess in this defensive region, but at the moment, defense won't get you all the way, and to close the series out, Alpha Force need to get something more going to get these shots away, not just making these saves. This might be an opportunity, no, just about cleared away, as now Jeff trying to come forwards with this one, but a good touch from Friction into Bigfoot, who's going to tuck that one away. Might be the start of Alpha Force's comeback here in game number 5. An incredible pass from Friction to find Bigfoot to give him that open bottom corner to tuck it away, and well worked goal with a minute to go. Only 1 goal separates them here in game number 5. Alpha Force looking down the barrel of their grand final, but Miram really still trying to say something about it.
Gave it a brief honorable mention, but towards the end of the games, Alpha Force seemed to be the stronger of the two sides. They were in the lead, of course, every single time that has happened. They've had the onus and the confidence to push forward and take a bigger risk because, well, they were just in a better position. But right now, they're forced to do it. They have to get an equalizer, or they will be forced into a Game 6. Not the position that they want to be in. Mirum, of course, on the other side, thinking the exact opposite way as Lackstar and Friction connect. That's a big demo. Opens up some space, forces Zeph into the third-man role. Does exceptionally well to keep that one away and out of the danger area. 15 seconds now, Jeff to pick it up. Just wants to keep control. Will not be able to do so. Friction finds Lackstar, looking to find each other once more, but it's just cut out instantaneously by Gold Ninja. Kill those passing lanes, kill the opportunity as Friction collides with the ball, and last second ticks away. If it touches the ground, Mirum will survive another opportunity for Alpha Force to take this one, and it goes to the very least a 4-2 as we look at the well, it's been a best of 5 now. If it were a best of 5, Alpha Force would have already won. 3-2 in their favor, but we see now Mirum making a comeback, rallying, and really showing us that determination, that grit. And as you said, bringing Jeff back in despite the potential technical issues seems to have been the better play, that they have more experience with him and perhaps has more mechanical nous. We'll just have to see whether or not that continues throughout the series, but this is exactly the fight back that we were looking for from them.
Yeah, Mirum really putting the pressure back on. Only one goal from the side of Critical Force, and that one was forced from Friction yet again, but coming from the side of Mirum, they were looking a lot more solid going forwards, actually getting some plays working rather than kind of just going for some pot shots that we saw at the start of the series. But I mean, some of those pot shots were incredible from the side of Gold Ninja, but this time it seemed a lot more of a kind of team play as they move forwards.
Yeah, collaborative effort is always the thing that pushes you forward in Rocket League. It is a threes game that we play, and you have to be able to rely on your teammates in the offense, in defense, in the midfield, and that seems to have been so much more well understood by Mirum in this that last game and the prior game before it as well. Despite the fact that they had to bring Arid in, they brought Jeff back, and they seem to feel more comfortable, even though it was just a 1-goal game. They had a little bit of a scare towards the end there, but they've lived to fight another game, and we continue on with this semi-final, hopefully for them, on to Champions Field. But we're not quite there yet, as we see the bright lit landscape of Neo Tokyo. Alpha Force wanting to end this one as soon as they possibly can. A 4-2 in their favor would do wonders for their mental going up into the grand final, but it's not all said and done just yet. Saw an early opening score from Mirum in the last game, not quite as early this time around, but they'll certainly be looking to continue on with that momentum and solidify that in this 6th game, and hopefully for them into the 7th. There's a touch by Gold Ninja off the sidewall. Finds its way through to the corner. Bigfoot opted to take it to the midfield, trusting implicitly his teammate Friction, recognizing they could just push forward. Attempt to counter. Quick and cheeky. Didn't quite work out as Zeph with space and time up to the skies. Will only find the corner. Does get a nice little pinch across, but it's not going to be to much avail, as we see, and I've only just noticed, Arid brought back in. I'm not quite sure if this is a technical reason, bit cheap, Big Chebs, but Jeff has been taken off the field once again.
Must be, after the performance from last game, it must be a technical reason. After MVPing in that game, there's no way they have taken him out for any other reason other than full technical problems. But this will definitely be the reckoning for Mirum now, as they've got to win this game to keep themselves in the competition. As Zeph's going to pick this one up in the midfield, going for the double, manages to get the double as it's going down that left-hand side. But now Bigfoot pinch towards Laxter, has to go for it himself. Gold Ninja does well to get that 50, as now Zeph getting that one down into the middle, but just about blocked out. Zeph still trying to follow this one up, back across towards the centre, going for the flip reset, doesn't manage to get there. Gold Ninja back into Arid, who pops it over the top and gives them some time to get back and get that boost. There's now Laxter keeps it in that corner. GoldNinja trying to keep it as away from danger, and that might be a double from the side of Bigfoot. Incredible shot in the end. GoldNinja, a little bit awkward to get that one out. Bigfoot, friction.
You
into
cannot be
Bigfoot,
serious.
Who takes it off the post and tucks it away himself. And that is how Alpha Force might project themselves into this grand final.
I mean, I refuse to believe them if they claim that to be calculated, because that was crazy fortunate from my perspective. Right place, right time. Sometimes you got to ride your luck. And they certainly did there. Bigfoot and Friction connect for Bigfoot to find his first and possibly a second here from Blackstar, all the way from the midfield line, and missed rotations from Miram, it feels like here. Zeph was the last man back, it looks like, with barely any boosts. GoldNinja, I think, was caught out just slightly in the midfield. Just a moment between the lines where they're not quite sure what they need to do. They weren't obviously expecting a shot all the way from the other end of the field from Blackstar, but he saw the opening and he took it. 2 goals in quick succession once again for Alpha Force, who's seen what happens when they do this. They don't let up, they don't relent, and they rarely lose. As halfway through this game now, a fake comes through from the first man, allowing Blackstar to pick up his brace as well, and 3 goals in, I think, 30 seconds, Chebs. This is devastating for Miram.
Yeah, already under the cosh in this game as Blackstar finds his second to really put his team very much looking down towards that grand final. But Miram don't have much time to answer back. Friction picking this one up in the midfield, might be going for the fourth and really trying to put this nail in the coffin. There's 4 goals for the side of Alpha Force. Is going to be a mountain to climb for Miram.
That's just too easy. This feels like a complete collapse. Like, you just took out the one piece on the Jenga tower that takes everything down. The one most important factor is Arid attempts to take this off the kickoff, ends up just colliding with his opposite number, doesn't quite go in their favor. Neither does this off the crossbar, just going to be popped up easy enough for Bigfoot to deal with. Cuts it back to the midfield, 2 minutes left to go, and 4 goals within a minute for Alpha Force. Again, I said it to Muzz in the last series, I am always hesitant to call a game early, but this, it just feels like the writing's on the wall. Everything crumbled in mere moments for Miram, and I would have to go back and analyze just exactly how that happened. It's unbelievable that this is what has occurred, but it's what's happening. It's reality, and Miram are waking up from the dream that they had of going to the grand final right now. They are absolutely going to need a miracle.
Yeah, they just really got caught napping for that minute, and now it's pretty much gone all the way that they can't have any way back into this game. But a minute left on the clock, and Miram really have to score now to even have a glimpse of hope to keep going into game number 7. But GoldNinja trying to get something going, isn't going to be able to get a touch on that one. Zeph out onto the right hand side, trying to get this ball middle to a teammate. Zeph, round 1, nope, both players committing onto that one, just about able to keep Zeph in that corner. Zeph on this left hand side trying to pick something up, but this time Arid is going to send that one towards goal. GoldNinja going for the heroics, but that one is going to be blocked out from his own teammate's shot. There's Friction down into the middle. Blackstar going to pop this one up high. GoldNinja is going to be able to grab this one. Flip reset over the top of one, but not enough to get it past Bigfoot, who's going to take it all the way down the other end. Zeph tried to keep it in that corner. Good touch over the top of one. Musty over the top of 2. Blackstar just about able to tap that one up onto the backboard. 8 seconds left to go, and Alpha Force will be your grand finalists.
And just such a slow, languid defeat. They felt drained after. I mean, it's the hope that kills you. Chevs, what more can you say in regards to how this series has progressed, as how it's developed? Miram barely won the first game, got shown up in the second and third against the team that they drew against in week 2. They haven't lost all season long, and this is how they fall apart. It's such an unlikely story, an unlikely situation to occur, and a 4-0 being completely shut out So you can see the first goal, very first goal of this series, Golden Ninja, it took an entire overtime. Well, they took an entire game in a very short overtime for them to get it. And then every single one after that, everything, not everything went wrong, but just enough things went wrong for them to falter again and again. They had technical issues. That has to be part of it. That has to be given to them in terms of some sort of consolation or condolence, I suppose. But you can't take it away from Alpha Force. They did everything right. When they recognized that Mirum were essentially a wounded animal, they had no mercy. They just kept going time after time, kept shooting straight, kept finishing fast and furiously. And they have earned through and through a spot in that grand final. And wow, not a single loss all season, and then you lose your first in the playoffs. I've seen it happen before, Ches, but it never gets any easier to deal with.
No, it doesn't, and I think you summed it up perfectly. I think Alpha Force really just noticed that there was something wrong with the Mirum side and didn't let up. It really was like a wounded animal. They were so aggressive, especially in that final game, where they noticed they caught them off guard with their first goal, and just 2, 3, 4 all went in straight away, and that's really what got them in that final game. And I think from the side of Mirum, although there was technical issues, there were also just glaring mistakes from their side, and I think Alpha Force was so good at noticing those mistakes.
Certainly were, as we see here, our series MVP, and really it's inarguable as to who this one was deserved. I think we mentioned his name far too many times, honestly, to be honest. Big Ches, Friction was incredible throughout the entire series. I mean, 23 shots, 7 goals to 23 shots, not the greatest shooting percentage, but I'm sure he'll not care one iota. 11 saves, 5 demos and 5 assists, almost 3,000 points over the course of 6 games. And well, an incredible way to do it, all the way from 5th to take out 1st in the division. Post series stats: 15 goals to 8, 47 to 43, very even in terms of shots and saves. I expected it based on 2 highly defensive teams, dead on even ball possession, similar field domination as well. It really just came down to the clinical nature of their offensive prowess from Alpha Force, and I mean, we said it before, they were just unable to make the difference, DSQ, in the most critical moments throughout this series. And well, that'll be it for their journey. Moving on up, Greybeard, to the grand final. Is that the way that you expected it to go?
You know what?
I'm flabbergasted.
Not on paper, but given how playoffs have gone for DSQ, it was like, is this gonna? It's so rough for them. They cleaned up in the league, and they just struggling in the playoffs.
Marathon and sprint, I said it. This is how it happens with Knockout Rocket League. You can never ever predict it.
Yeah, and I mean that is the difference between league play and playoff play. It is, you know, in league you can have a bad night and still squeak out a draw and still be there in the league, but a slightly off night in playoffs, and it is rough. And then just a quick update on the other side. We're in game 6 on the other side, and Kings are 2-1 up with half the game gone. And so if Kings win in game 6, they will meet Critical Force in the grand final. So after speed running the play-ins, it's been hard work out in semi-finals. They got it cut out for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fun. This series was incredibly interesting to watch. Both teams really had their moments throughout the series, but Critical Force just so honed in on what they wanted to do, always able to kind of get those shots off. They held so much pressure. Both teams really did. We saw it in those final game stats, 43 shots to 47. That's an incredible amount over just a 6-game series. Being able to have that many shots just shows how much pressure was held by both teams.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that is your work done. Thanks. I asked you to bring a banger, and bring a banger you did. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to go and have a chat with Lackstar. So, Mr. Lackstar, congratulations.
Hello.
Wow, look at the mood lighting you got there. This is
I have
quite
to look
something.
fancy. I have to look fancy.
Alrighty, well, that was it as much hard work as it looked?
It was, actually. I feel quite... It wasn't a fair fight, and not because we were better at all. It's the disconnections and all of that stuff included. So I really feel for Jeff's team.
Yeah.
It really sucks to be in that situation. So, like, they fought for what situation they were in. They fought really hard. So.
Yeah, and we've been kind of plagued with that all week with random power failures and Wi-Fi issues. It's been kind of rough in playoffs this week for that sort of thing. But having so if they hadn't had that issue, do you feel like you're a fortunate winner or a deserved winner?
No. I still think we deserved a winner. I still think we could have won if they had no problems at all. But as I said, they really did put up. It actually quite it threw us around a bit to the substitutions that's coming in and out. So it made us stumble a bit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, now you've turned off all your lights, Lack. Now the mood has turned.
I'm having load shedding this time.
The mood has got decidedly dark. So over on the other side, Dynasty Kings have just gone 5-1 up over Fort Templars with 10 seconds to go. So they are going to win game 6, and you will be meeting the Dynasty Kings. And I don't know if you had a preference on which team you wanted to meet up with, but you will be up against Dynasty.
Who's in Dynasty? I can't remember.
Happy Meal, Olympic, and Tweaks.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I thought I was thinking might be them in finals. So.
Okay, so you comfortable with that? So give us a score prediction in terms of series score.
Ooh, I think this one might go all the way. To be honest, I'm hoping for like a 4-2, maybe 4-1.
Yeah,
but there's a big chance for best of 7 to go all the way. In my.
No, that's fair. That's fair, and that would be worthy of the Master Tier finals. And my last question for you, Lack, is a more broad one. I know you've retired from competitive Rocket League, stepped into the coaching role at VS Gaming, and when we spoke then, it seemed like that was something you wanted to pursue. So I guess my question then is, what now for you in terms of Rocket League and our SSA Rocket League community?
I'm still gonna be around. I'm not gonna. I won't be disappearing. I'll probably still play like meme based, like RLCS, like just with a few friends and kind of just enjoy it.
I'm available.
Sounds like a content team. Let's do it.
If you want a meme team, I'm perfect for that. Sorry, carry on.
No. So yeah, I don't think like the competition part of it is. I'm quite over it. I think I'm better fitted to be a coach as of right now.
Okay.
And I don't have the time to grind. It's not nearly as fun as it was. I'm getting old, man. That's 21-year-old saying I'm getting old. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we are going to hold you to that, and I hope we'll see you involved in RSC. It's really important to have sort of higher level players, OGs, guys who've been involved in the community for a long time, being involved in our community and making things go. So I look forward to seeing more of you as the future of SSA Rocket League rolls out. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you go off because your work is not done. As old as you are, you've got more work to do tonight, Lackstar.
I'm already sweating. Like, it's crazy.
Well, good luck against the Kings, and if things go according to plan, I'll be speaking to you or I know Friction. I wanted to get Friction on here, but he doesn't have. Still no face cam for Friction, driving me crazy.
I'll get him to use his phone, man. It's too much.
Make it happen. Okay, good. Well, go and prep, and we'll see you in the finals. Good luck. And thanks for being here, and congrats on how far you've come.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Peace out, Black.
Cheers.
Thank you. Oh, and there you have it. We made our way very quickly through the play-ins. There were sweep. We thought we were going to have a really early night, but then long, hard work in the semi-finals. Two 6-game series. And amazingly, we have not had a Champions Field game in the semis or in the grand final. But if Lackstar's prediction goes right, we will have one in this grand final in the master tier. And I don't know what the general thought about that is in chat. But I'm just trying to see who's Popcorn's here. Not just supporting the elite tier of Dynasty, but here to support the Kings as well. And Kings, I think, have already made history in SSA RSC by being double champions in Prospect and in Elite, and have the potential of being 3 triple champions in RSC. And if the Kings go forward to win, I got to tell you, I'm going to feel pretty poorly, because it'll only be my tier that dropped the ball on being champions. And Falcon, who's not really working tonight, he's kind of hanging around. It's his birthday, but good to see him busying himself in the chat. And here we are in terms of our bracket. 5 games to be played tonight. 4 of them are done. Only 1 left, and it is the grand final. Alpha Force versus the Kings. Second in the league versus 5 in the league, going head to head. And last night was the first tier where places 1 and 2 did not feature in the grand finals. That's not the case tonight, because Kings finished the league second, Alpha Force in 5th. And the way they played, this is going to be hard work for the Kings. They've come off a 6-game series already, so they should both be very warmed up and ready to go. But that's the match we are going to be bringing you in just a few moments. We've just got to give the teams a little bit of time to catch their breath, coming off those games, run to the bathroom, get a snack, get coffee, get a drink, whatever it is they need to get themselves ready. And as soon as they are, we will have them. And shout out to Rhino and Skilton over on the B stream for running all the action there. I guess I should punt while I'm here and remind everybody that we are closing orders for the RSC Season 3 t-shirts tomorrow. And if you want to order yourself a t-shirt, there's the link in chat. Go and get it ordered. And we're going to look to go to print next week. So now we look forward to our final game of the night. Our final game of RSC Season 3. And Bromeo, we've dragged you out of work to come and be here. And Rhino, because we felt you haven't done enough work running a B stream and casting 2 series already, we've dragged you in to be in the grand final here. Bromeo, let me start with you. It's a weird thing to be at the last series of an entire season.
Honestly, it's a surreal feeling, because even last week it still felt like there was tons of season to go. And now that we're down to the final series, the final game, I'm not sure if I'm ready to let go. I'm enjoying this too much.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're still enjoying it, and that speaks to an improvement this season, because by this time last season, it wasn't as much fun as it should have been. But we put on a brave face and put on a banger of a season. Rhino, you joined us at the tail end of last season, but you've pretty much been with us for the entire roller coaster of Season 3.
Yeah. And it was actually not very nice of you guys to bring me on and then not have enough pixels to show my face. That's a little bit, but
we're running on fumes here, Rhino. We're doing what we can.
My internet is like the little engine that could, bless it, downstairs, trying to just keep up with things. But no, it's been a pleasure to bring RSC SSA Season 3 to life, and to be here for the entire season has been awesome. Everyone has been so polite and so kind. And I reckon we're going to be seeing it out in exactly the right way. This grand final looks very tasty indeed.
And another close tier, Bromeo. I mean, we saw last night. I just couldn't get over the fact that there were three measly points separating sixth place and first place. Not as close here, but it's 6 points. 3 teams were on 20. They were on exactly the same number of points. So it's no real surprise. I mean, yes, place 5 is playing place second, but it does belie how close the season has been throughout. But gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to you. Bring us an amazing grand final. Let's finish it off in the best way possible. Over to you guys.
I cannot be more excited to witness what is the ultimate showcase of RSC. It is the Master Grand Final. It is Critical Force, Alpha Force, riding all the way through the lower brackets versus the Kings. So, Rhino, now that we're here, now that we can talk more safely just between us, how are we feeling about this?
I'm feeling very good about this game. I mean, it's 2 teams who have had such fantastic seasons, an unbeaten roster in Dynasty, and a team who have really shown their mettle already against DSQ in those semi-finals and were fantastic in the play-ins as well. Critical Force, fantastic. Dynasty, fantastic. Bromeo, I've got to ask you, who do you predict? What is your prediction for this game?
Do you know what? I'm going to preface this by saying 56% of the chat vote currently thinks Dynasty Kings will take it, and rightfully so. They started straight into the playoffs, and here they are. But as we see that 64% now go to Critical Force, as somebody just spent some big moolah. And I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to vote for the underdog tonight. They've fought harder to be here. They've looked very convincing in their games so far. And I think they have what it takes. So I think they're going to take this one down 4-2. It's not going to go to Game 7.
Okay. Very interesting. I've actually gone the other way, I have to say, Bromeo. Based on what I saw on the B stream, I've seen both of these teams play now, and obviously the same has happened for the A stream. But for me, the way Dynasty were able to fight against the adversity that Fort Templar were able to put in their way, I don't see a way that the Dynasty Kings, momentum, the way that they're probably going to be sitting there really excited about this grand final, certainly with the way that they played in that last game. I believe it was a 5-1 victory in Game 6 to take out Fort Templar. So I think they've got this in the bag. I think it's going to be 4-2 as well. I don't think we see a Game 7, but I have to say, Bromeo, I would not be complaining if we did.
Guys, I just want to point out the drama in the chat. The biggest points giver for Critical Force right now on their side. 200,000 points have been voted so far. Sfaulcon, the AGM for Dynasty Kings, has put down 71,000 points on Alpha Force to win. So I'm not about the drama. I'm just putting it here for you to use. Don't use it, but just know that has been done. But having a look at Alpha Force, Friction, Bigfoot, Scruffy, Lackstar, it is an all-star lineup. We've seen nearly every single one of these players at RLCS level, and Rhino, it's a force to be reckoned with.
It is. I mean, and it's one of the biggest examples of CMVs can sometimes be deceiving. Lackstar at 17-15 has been a shining light for this Critical Force side. He's been exceptional. And just one comment, by the way, on those channel points. That is how you either win or lose yourself a t-shirt right there. That's how that's done. So I respect going for it. But no, Friction has captained this side so incredibly well. Bigfoot, a wonderful supporting player as well. Scruffy filling in when he needs to, and Lackstar, I mean, what can be said about Lackstar that's not already been said? This player is special, and he's got a special future.
He does indeed. Their win record is looking good. And that being said, they came in through the bottom, and now they're facing off a flying hot Dynasty side. Not Sfaulcon's Dynasty side anymore, because Sfaulcon now belongs to Critical Force, but the Dynasty roster of Tweaks, Happy Meal, Mark, and Olympic is also equally as star-studded. The likes of the season campaigner Happy Meal, Olympic coming in strong, and have a look at their win rate, 64%, and they haven't lost a series the entire season, so I can see why you predicted that way.
Yeah, and that's continued into this postseason, right? They've only had one series to play because obviously they finished second in the league, but they didn't make easy work of it. I'm going to make that very, very clear. Fort Templar Sovereigns, they came to play. They were fantastic, but when you've got the combination of Tweaks and Happy Meal along with Olympic supporting that kind of two-pronged attack, it is very, very difficult to see past. It's very difficult to defend against. And they make a point of camping in your half, making that pressure count, and getting those victories. Now, of course, 5 draws on the season as well. They're not invincible. They don't not lose games, but they have that mental fortitude to keep things moving and win some series.
Well, here we go. The time is now upon us. The chat vote is closed. This is the last series of Rocket League for RSC Season 3. It is the Master Grand Final. Here we go.
It's going to kick off Tweaks versus Lackstar. It's over onto this near side. Bigfoot, let's get anything going there. Now Friction will take over into the bottom corner. It's a double commit coming in from the Kings. As now Bigfoot takes it forwards, looks for the first goal of the Grand Final! And it's Bigfoot to get Alpha Force out in front.
Bruv must be jumping up and down on his debut season, watching his master team take the first goal in this Grand Final. It is Alpha Force in blue, Kings in red, and this is a matchup for the ages. Both teams flaming hot right now as Lackstar puts one against the backboard, challenged by Happy Meal. But right now, it is all upon Alpha Force to make this defense count as Bigfoot gets a good clear, throws it off to Tweaks. And now an aerial assault again, once stifled. It's bouncing dangerously towards goal. He doubles it. Lackstar gets the goal.
Just like that, it goes into Alpha Force's favor even more. A double touch off the crossbar, and the man that we spoke so highly of pre-game, the man to get the second goal and daylight between Alpha Force and Dynasty Kings. This one fought very hard for in the midfield. Happy Meal will win out, looks for that pinch into the middle. Friction lets it go. Lackstar quite there, but at the same time, neither was anyone from Dynasty Kings. Now Bigfoot brings it forward. Already done some damage from this position. This time will be met by Olympic. And now Dynasty Kings try to break. Ball in field. Happy Meal goes by. This is a chance for Bigfoot off the left-hand side. He's going to go for goal early. Blackstar plays it back off the backboard away by Happy Meal, and the Kings can try and get that counter again. Happy Meal needs to set the shot on goal. What a pass. Oh, it's an own goal. Tweaks off the post. Off. Who was it in there who has got that goal? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Lackstar. He giveth and he taketh away. Kings back within one.
Wow, that is so deeply unfortunate because for all rights, that was missing. It was a brilliant attempt there by Tweaks. Fantastic pass by Happy Meal, but doesn't result in a goal. Just like that one could have been Olympic with a quick shot there, almost snagging the equalizer. But now Lackstar trying to dribble Olympic with the tackle zone. Now Happy Meal challenging in the corner. It could be a little bit dangerous. Bigfoot with a fake, but challenged well by Tweaks, and they'll get the clear. Launches another aerial assault. Happy Meal passes to the corner, but cleared immediately. Rhino, I'm loving the high octane start. 3 goals in 2 minutes, and we might just see another one here.
It's very close from the Kings, and Friction. It's a demo onto Tweaks. Now off the ceiling, cleared away by Olympic for the moment. Happy Meal on the left. Bigfoot gonna pop this one back as Tweaks has to get up, has to try and read it, and doesn't, and Bigfoot scored. It's Alpha Force who continue to batter down the King's house, and that one is just Tweaks getting very unlucky. Happy Meal tries to recover with 0 boost, and Kings, well, they're gonna need to try and fight a little bit harder if they are to find their crown. Alpha Force playing incredibly well in game 1.
They have been doing great indeed. Alpha Force coming out striking, and 3 goals before the first half is even done is quite an accomplishment already, as Friction gives it off to Bigfoot. Bigfoot now trying to get that challenge through, doesn't get it right on there, but they have been signaling their intent from the get-go. Their offense has been flaming hot here as Friction hands off to Lackstar. This could be bad, but whiffs a city all over the place as Tweaks couldn't get the end of that and possibly get within range of this red hot Alpha Force team, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. As Olympic down that side, Friction intercepting. It's going to be Tweaks now looking for Happy Meal on the far side, and that is a deadly duo that the Kings have used across this whole series and whole season. Tweaks off the backboard. Olympic drops it down. That's wonderful. Lackstar reads that play nicely. Is able to make the save. Back in from Tweaks, and this is something that Dynasty Kings, we saw them do a lot in their previous game. And we're seeing them do it here as well. As Olympic down the right-hand side. It's back in from Friction. Tweaks gets a chance. Ball in field. It's there to be won. And it is in the end a 50 played as Olympic tries to take it forwards. 1.5 minutes left. Only 2 goals the difference. Still time for Kings to try and get it back. But they will need to score soon. They will need to try and get some momentum.
Well, it looks like it indeed as Friction tries to get through the clear, but returns quickly back to goal. Bigfoot with the touch there. Demo now means Friction has an open net if he can take it. But Kings rallying quickly as it's passed across the face of goal, but Olympic, sure-handed, comes through, and a Happy Meal Demo ensures the clear as it returns to the side. Tweaks trying to get the shot off, and Friction now. This has been a tale of 2 halves. There has been no midfield battle. There has been no possession in the midfield. It's either been on either side of things as Lackstar now tries to get that challenge out, but yet Kings are taking shot after shot, and that demo there on Olympic might have been inspired as it looks a little dangerous. He missed the open net, and comedy of errors there means that Alpha Force have survived that attack.
I mean, Kings are doing everything but getting the ball in the back of the net. Lackstar gets across to deny another one. 15 seconds left on the clock. Happy Meal trying to get something going. I mean, a goal here for Dynasty Kings would be ideal. It would give them momentum into that game too. It would be exactly what the doctor ordered. A whifty there in front of the goal for Alpha Force, and that is going to do it. That is going to be game number 1 in the books. And Critical Force, Alpha Force, they look to topple the untoppable. They look to move the immovable. And they start with a game 1 victory, 1-0.
Friction taking the MVP with that game. 2 assists, 1 shot, 2 saves, and 4 demos. More than Mr. League Leader himself, Olympic, only managing to pick up 3. And this is a very good statement of intent from Critical Force, the underdogs, and Sfaulcon's favorites, as they've picked up game number 1 in this best of 7, and they're looking red hot.
They are looking extraordinary. I mean, but you do look at those stats and you do start to wonder if they'll be able to maintain it. I mean, 5 shots from Bigfoot alone is very impressive indeed. So that's 7 shots on the side of Alpha Force, 6 shots on the side of Dynasty Kings. The big thing I want to talk about there is that field domination. Remember, the numbers are the wrong way round on these graphics. So it was actually 57% in favor of the Kings. And that's exactly where I thought it probably was, Bromeo. I thought Kings had more of the possession in the Alpha Force half, but they still conceded the most goals. Those counterattacks and also that kickoff goal from Bigfoot, those were the things that destroyed Dynasty in game number 1.
Well, let's see if they can work on that efficiency. We are now heading into game number 2 as Kings take a solid kickoff there. Friction with the dispossessed though, and now Lackstar got some boost, is going to take this to ground. Friction with the clear though, catching Dynasty a little bit off guard with Tweaks trying to get the touch off passes up to Olympic. Now passing into the corner as Happy Meal gonna ting the backboard. He's gonna get the double. Can he? Shots saved by Friction, and this has been a tumultuous start for Critical Force as Dynasty are throwing everything they have.
Yeah, Yeah, and Alpha Force are one of those teams where like they don't seem to be able to defend in a structured manner. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it just feels like all their players are flying all the way over the place, moving across the goal, making those hero saves. And it works for them as well in games like this. The Kings, they need to start being a bit more structured in their approach, a bit more wary of where the Alpha Force is. That's an open net and it's missed. Real chance for Alpha Force to take the lead. Back down the other end for the Kings as it's a chance for Olympic. It will be met. Both teams having a chance there and both teams not taking advantage of them, Bromeo.
Alpha Force very quick on the scramble, though, never allowing King's space to operate as Friction leading from the front, often as he is, but shot by Tweets. So close there, and they're just launching shot after shot. This looks dangerous, but Friction on the line with the clear. Olympic now going to launch a counter, pings it into the corner, but Bigfoot with the good read, and now challenges safely again. He's going to try and go for the bump. There's Lackstar. Gets it up against the backboard. They need a good follow. Friction can't get it though. And now one little pass down. Bigfoot trying to read it. Couldn't do it as they have not escaped the Kings. They have not gotten out of their own half yet. This has been an unrelenting assault as it continues. Bigfoot bringing it into the corner. They're now going to try and pass it against the backboard. They need a follow-up, but they get the clear.
And it will be now taken over by the Dynasty Kings. Friction plays it downfield. Happy Meal will collect, and he has some time and space too. Looks for the pass. Olympic takes it. Back post tweaks. Will be equal to it. And that is a wonderful team goal by Dynasty Kings. Pass up to Olympic. Olympic across the goal. And Happy Meal onto the backboard. Tweaks to finish it off. Double commit at the top right corner. But if the ball ends up in the back of the net, Bromeo, it doesn't matter how many people commit for that ball, because you're going to be kicking off relatively soon.
Oh, could be an early goal. Tweaks there, but it was the demo that made it count. You see here Olympic demoing the second man, creating a cloud of confusion, and that leads to Dynasty Kings' second goal. Sometimes it is that easy.
Kickoff goals, they do happen, and there's maybe another one. Olympic by getting the power, but it's in favor right now of Dynasty Kings as Blackstar completely disregards what I just said as this ball goes over to that far side. Bigfoot off the ceiling, really away by Happy Meal onto that far side where Tweaks is gonna collect it. It will be put forwards by Blackstar, wins a 52. That's into the corner. Tweaks now gets the clearance. Happy Meal's gone ahead. He does get bumped away by Friction. He's still trying to battle for this play. Blackstar is up, drops it down, but cleared once again by Dynasty Kings. Another attempted passing play from the Kings. This one goes a little bit awry, but Tweaks collects it over on that far side. And Friction will put it back to halfway. Alpha Force, they need to start moving forwards in this game if they are to extend their lead in the series. But Kings are doing well to keep them at bay.
They are doing well indeed now. Bigfoot trying to get some more footage into the Kings half, and he's succeeding pretty well with the likes of Lackstar leading from the front, often taking those first touches and challenges. And it's looking incredibly good, and dare I say ominous for the Critical Force side right now, because they are showing some serious attacking intent. Is now Olympic gonna launch an attack of his own. He's gonna try and go under, passes it down, but Lackstar reads it well. Tweaks playing it into the corner, trying for the redirect, gets the touch, but hands it off to Bigfoot. Lackstar now playing it deep, seeing nobody back, but Olympic safe to collect, takes his time, beats one. He's gonna try and beat two with a bounce, and the bump, doesn't bump, but gets the favorable bounces. Now they are favoring themselves to take this dub. There's only 50 seconds left on the clock, and Kings are leading by 2.
Yeah, that's a chance for Olympic, cleared away by Bigfoot. 40 seconds for 2 goals. It's not unheard of, it's not impossible. It will take a monumental effort for this Critical Force side with the way the Kings are playing. Friction had to get that one away, but Olympic is there, needs a double, won't find it. Now looking for the bump. Bigfoot clears, and Tweaks is facing the entire Alpha Force side and does get a good 50. 40 seconds turns into 20 seconds. And unfortunately, Critical Force, they will need to score right now, and it just doesn't happen for them. There is a chance there. Oh, what a save that is by Happy Meal to keep them out for the moment. Tweaks gets over the top of Friction. Have Alpha Force pushed all their eggs forwards? Yes, they have. And now all the eggs are smashed on the floor. It's 3-0 Dynasty Kings, 1-1 in the series.
There have been quite a few eggs cracked in that one. I would agree with Dynasty on top of things. 3-0 with 5 seconds to go. Best thing Critical Force can do at this point is, like Dynasty in game 1, they'd seek for a respite, a confidence goal, if you will, but they're going to let this one land. They're going to let this game end, as now the scores are tie. 1 game apiece, but this time it is Dynasty who takes the crown. Tweaks leading from the front, getting the game MVP, and Rhino, you'd be impressed to see that field domination is a lot more equal.
Yes, I will. That is one of my favorite statistics in Rocket League, and I like when it's 50-50 because that means we have a very tight game. But there is something wrong when you see a 50-50 field domination game with such a one-sided victory as far as goals go. 3-0 to the Dynasty Kings is very impressive from that position. But you consider how many shots they put on goal, right? They've got 8 shots to the 2 shots from Critical Force all game. It's like night and day from what we saw in that first game of the series. And Dynasty Kings, they are definitely going to be playing with their tails up now, having really put Alpha Force to the sword there.
Well, it is worth noting that Dynasty shot a very similar amount of shots that they did in the first game. It is Critical Force who didn't get their cylinders firing, as they only managed those 2 shots for 0 goals. So that is something they will be addressing going forward. Friction and Lackstar playing heavily forward. Bigfoot clearly into the 3rd man role as he makes a lot of those stops. But here we go. It is game number 3. It is tie up, but you'll feel like Dynasty Kings now have their tails up as they scored a convincing win last time round. And they're going to see if they can favor themselves and back themselves to keep that form going forward.
It's Olympic popping this one up to Tweaks, nothing doing. As Alpha Force look to force their way forwards. Olympic brings it away over onto the far side. Friction off that left. It's going to be Tweaks dropping it down, but only as far as Bigfoot, who takes it past 1. Won't get past Happy Meal, but Friction is waiting. That one's going to go off the backboard. It's met by Olympic, and it's fast-paced action at the start of game number 3. The lead in the series is on the line, but which team wants it more? We'll find out in the next 4 minutes, 15 seconds.
Well, Lackstar carrying it over Happy Meal, and the shot comes off, but saved by Tweaks. It is a game of fine margins right now as Happy Meal goes in for the demo, and it's a double demo there, won by Olympic. He's going to take the doink off, but fantastic pressure there by Friction as he stops the attack dead, as Dynasty Kings are continuing to apply the pressure. Another demo there by Tweaks means that demolitions are flying right now. You feel like that was the halftime chat as a shot comes off, and there we go. The pressure pays off, and Olympic is the benefactor.
Yeah, that is exactly what the captain would have wanted. Happy Meal goes over Tweaks. I'm not 100% sure what confused Friction about that play. Whichever thing it was benefited Olympic to finish into an empty net, and Dynasty Kings back ahead. And you remember, Alpha Force did not score in that second game. So if Dynasty Kings can keep them out once again, I mean, that's going to do horrible things to the mental and the momentum of Alpha Force. That ball going downfield. Bigfoot trying to take it forwards, intercepted by Tweaks. One coming back in from Friction. Olympic will push it to the side, into the corner. Back in from Bigfoot. Will find a second touch, but will be met by Tweaks. Olympic picks up the boost. Tweaks into that far corner. A double commit from Kings. That's going to leave Happy Meal in an awkward position. But if there's anyone who you are pretty okay with running back towards his own goal, that's going to be Happy Meal. He deals with it very professionally indeed. But Alpha Force, they are putting more pressure on in this game 3.
It seems like they are, as Lackstar launching another aerial, but quickly tackled there by Olympic. Luckily, Friction on the backboard to make the stop. Beats 1, but couldn't get past Happy Meal as another Dynasty demo comes in. Bigfoot trying to ping the backboard, but Olympic is back to make that. Tweak spotting an opening, bombs it over the top. Bigfoot to collect and demoed once more. Olympic is really coming into his own right now. He is a demo demon, top of the league standings for a reason, as Alpha Force are starting to feel the crunch of this aggression.
They are. And Happy Meal over on that side, looking now to cut in. It's going to be cleared away by Bigfoot for the moment. As Olympic goes up. Oh, he wanted that one to waterfall. Happy Meal was getting in place to pop that home right in front of the net, but unfortunately it did not hit that top corner. 2 minutes left. Only one goal in it. Olympic playing that 50. It's going to be pushed all the way onto the far side. Tweaks pops it up for Happy Meal to take. And now Tweaks follows it through. Happy Meal wanting the redirect. Gets a little bit too much on it. Lackstar sending it back downfield. Olympic can't get past Lackstar either. Tweaks going to be called upon. Sit back out to halfway, and that's really all Kings can find right now. Alpha Force keeping them in their own half. But that miss from Friction might give them an opportunity to get back on an aggressive mindset.
Well, we're certainly hoping they can get back into it. I've noted that there's been a couple of backboard pings, but no shots of intent just yet, as Lackstar puts it into the corner, gets the beat, and keeps Kings under the cosh. But Olympic with a fantastic air dribble to get Kings back into the center half allows them some respite. The shots coming off here, and Lackstar with the response.
That's exactly what they needed. Alpha Force, as clock was ticking down, they were probably starting to worry that they weren't going to find the goal, but that is a lovely finish at the bottom right-hand corner. And 1-1, Alpha Force and Kings go, but hang on a moment. Immediately taken over by the Kings off the kickoff. Tweaks to bump onto Bigfoot, but Bigfoot gets the ball as Blackstar can't leave that one. Happy Meal, no boost, but still somehow manages to get his car on that ball. Bigfoot gets the big clearance, but it's back in from Tweaks. Looking now for the second touch. Friction sends it clear. Back in from Dynasty as this one goes off the sidewall. Tweaks is equal. Looks for the shot. It's off the back wall. And these shots that are going wide and over from Dynasty Kings may come back to haunt them a little later on in this series.
It might do indeed, but right now scores are tied. Tweaks trying to take this through and create some pressure, but the challenges are coming in thick and fast from both sides as Friction now tries to regain and put it into the red half where they can launch an attack. I feel like Dynasty are stalling for some time right now. They're happy to take this to overtime because they are currently under some pressure. They're going to let this bounce. It is going to be a game 3 overtime where we will hopefully see a deadlock of some form, because right now everything is square.
Everything is square as overtime hits, and we know from last night that overtimes in grand finals, oh my goodness, that's not a great shot, and Bigfoot will finish that one off. A really poor clearance on the goal line from Dynasty Kings. Tweaks just puts it into no man's land. Olympic bumps him as well, and it's just scrambling to try and prevent the goal from that point. Alpha Force will follow through and get that second goal to give them the lead in the series, but you can't help but feel, Bromeo, it was gifted to them.
That really was an unfortunate way to end an overtime as Bigfoot claims the game MVP, although it was very tight with his 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 shots, 1 save. Again, field domination equal. Nothing separates the sides, meaning it had to be an overtime separator. Dynasty Kings not putting much of a foot wrong. They were incredibly aggressive, putting in, 9 demos in that one game. 4 of them coming from Olympic himself. So the aggression is there, the intent is there, but they just needed to take better of their chances. So Rhino going into this game number 4, it is still too close to call.
It is. And I think Dynasty Kings are going to be feeling pretty rough about that game that's just happened, because they were 1-0 up for a good long while in that game. They just couldn't find that second goal. They couldn't find daylight between themselves and Alpha Force, and that's what cost them in the end. They conceded with just under a minute to go. At that point, you're then scrambling around trying to make sure you get that goal. Doesn't come, you go to overtime, you make a mistake, and suddenly you've lost game 3 and you're going into game 4 behind in the series. And Alpha Force, after a 3-0 loss in that second game, they're going to be feeling on top of the world as far as their VC and their momentum goes. That is definitely going to be for sure. So Kings are going to have to try and turn this one around. They're going to have to try and undo that. Oh my goodness! Top corner almost found early from Alpha Force. That's going to be another save from Olympic. But wow, Alpha Force start game number 4 very strong indeed.
Olympic nabbing another demo. I'd be very interested to see the demo stats at the end of this. We need a demo ticker for Olympic, actually. One just for him, so we can see how far he's extending his lead on the top of the table, because he has honestly been putting in the numbers. And credit to Alpha Force. They took that last game despite being under huge pressure as Dynasty looked to take out all of the stops. So big credit for soaking up the pressure and coming away with that dub. And game number 3 is now Bigfoot passes down, takes a long shot, but Olympic with the safe clear.
Yeah. And Lackstar collects Bigfoot on the far side, does win that 50 against Happy Meal, now working into the corner, cleared away by Happy Meal for the moment. It's on the sidewall. Olympic can't beat Friction. And Alpha Force, they just want to disrupt, they just want to frustrate, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. Pull inside, there might be a chance here. It's pancakes against the backboard. And that's going to be enough to deter Kings for the moment. Olympic gets around 2, might have a chance here, open net to aim at. It's saved for the moment, but it's still in a very precarious position. Friction sends the clearance away, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Dynasty Kings, they have a lot of chances, they have a lot of openings, but their conversion rate is slipping further and further into this series, and that's giving Alpha Force all of the chances to get themselves back down the other end of the pitch like this. Friction's going to be given a chance. That's on target. Good save by Olympic to keep the scoreline level.
Just worth noting that this is the first big pad that I've seen Critical Force pick up in a while, as they keep getting demoed. I think their team cumulative boost for like a minute or so was under 100 for the whole team. So they truly are under a huge amount of pressure from this Dynasty outfit, as Bigfoot tries to dribble a quick one in there and break the deadlock, but no dice as Friction takes a shot across, but what a save from Tweaks.
How's he made that save? That is crazy. Dynasty Kings moving back down the other end of that big save. Bigfoot into the corner, cleared away once again. Friction taken out of the play. So it will be Happy Meal now, trying to get this one away, but a lot of boost to work with. And Olympic does have the boost, so now looking across field, trying to find Tweaks. Not going to happen. Happy Meal with the boost, with the shot. Has he found the finish? Of course he has. Happy Meal, top right corner. Name a better combination. And it is that first goal for Dynasty Kings that they have been searching for. He could not have placed it better if he tried. That shot placement is disgusting, and Dynasty Kings take a 1-0 lead.
Alpha Force finding themselves on the wrong end of that, as a poorly timed double commit means that they were not in a position to make that stop, allowing Kings into this very closely contested game. It's been over 3 minutes of Rocket League so far, only 1 goal scored. Just shows how tight it is, as yet more demos come in. This time Happy Meal, the aggressor, on his own defensive line, as Alpha Force are trying to return here. They're trying to get back into the game. They're doing a good job at maintaining possession as Friction fakes out Happy Meal, passing off to Bigfoot into the corner. He's going to try for a double here, but now it looks like Kings are out of the woods and allowed to reset.
Bigfoot goes low, looks for that ground pinch, not going to find it. Oh, Happy Meal. That is a very brave fake, my son, and he's been able to pull it off. That one's with a nice shot, but it's cleared away by Bigfoot. Now looking towards this left channel. Works inside, has Olympic to beat, and hasn't quite got the pace to beat him at the back. Friction goes by. Olympic will try and collect. Does win the 50. Back in from Lackstar. Team bump could cause problems. Ball inside. Will there be a finish there? Will. Friction comes through to make sure that Alpha Force are still in with a shout in this game. And it's looking eerily similar to that game number 3, Bromeo.
It really is. And it also must be noting that both of these goals have been caused from double commits. And it just shows what a fine margin that this game is resting on, that the only time both teams are scoring is when there's a glaring mistake, except when there's shots like that. It was almost another one for Dynasty Kings had it not been a little bit harder. So now, shot pass across, can it go in? But save off the line by Olympic, as they are not out of the woods yet, as Friction trying to contest gets beaten. And now Laxstar puts it over straight to Bigfoot in the corner, passes it down to Laxstar. Laxstar going in for the bump possibly, but now it looks like this may go to overtime if Happy Meal doesn't get the shot off, and it is that tight.
That's to be the case, that ball will drop. Alpha Force confident to take this one to OT, given what they did in that previous game. It's a fake kickoff from Dynasty Kings. Grand final, game 4, pretty much a must win. And they faked the kickoff, but it's not gone wrong as this one goes across field. Olympic and try and collect up that left side, off the backboard, but hit away by Laxstar once again. Tweaks puts it back in. That's over the top of one, but another good save by Laxstar. Bumps and demos going around the entire of the server. 30 seconds gone in OT. And, oh, hang on, maybe there's a chance here for Alpha Force. No, will be pushed to the side. Another demo. They're just trying to hit lumps out of each other and see which one is able to stand for the longest by the looks of things.
The bombs are aplomb, and honestly, it feels like this is a slugging match now. They are jabbing, they are punching, they are swinging. Both sides trying to get some form of advantage, and right now it's the demos as Bigfoot with a very fat challenge could make the difference, but Friction not being able to convert as Dynasty get out of this one with Olympic. Getting the reset, not quite the shot though, as it lands safely in front of Bigfoot now. Olympic gonna try and return the favor. Tweaks there to take the shot, but very well intercepted there as Dynasty are doing an incredible job at maintaining possession and field dominance right now, laying shot after shot on the critical force line. It's floating dangerously, and Laxstar gonna try and take it down. Happy Meal with the challenge. Now Olympic getting the whiff that could be the jail that they needed to get out of. And Olympic putting one shot more in. It could go in, but Bigfoot safe.
This is something that we've been talking about all series with the Dynasty Kings. They can set up opportunities. They can really batter your goal line. But their conversion rate is really not up to scratch. Maybe it will be now. Tweaks into Happy Meal, but Happy Meal goes by. The pass is just a little too far ahead of him. Alpha Force have not been particularly attacking in this overtime, but they've really struggled also to kind of be threatened on the other side. Kings, a lot of shots, a lot of pressure, not anything that is really too damaging to this side of critical force. Back in from Happy Meal, off the backboard, chance cleared, Laxstar, but hang on a moment! There is Tweaks, all of that pressure, everything that was pushing forwards for Dynasty Kings finally comes to fruition. 2.5 minutes into overtime, and the Kings take game 4. We go to 2-2.
Well, there we go. The scores are now tie once more, with Dynasty swinging hard and fast in that last game and taking chance of that little bit of a break in play to get the winning goal in overtime. And I think it was approaching 3 minutes, so that was an incredibly arduous game for them both. But look at the demo stats. Another 11 demos, 5 to Olympic. They're really pulling a shift here as Laxstar, Friction, and Bigfoot under the cosh. And might I say, doing very well at maintaining despite all of that pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. They really stuck in it, and that's not an easy thing to do, but some of those saves in that fourth game were absolutely outstanding from Alpha Force. Just got to have a look. I mean, they also went out down the other end. 11 shots compared to the 8 is also very impressive. I mean, Alpha Force were by no means the weaker side in that game. I feel like they still played incredibly well. They just were not able to deal with that overtime pressure, as you say, from Dynasty Kings in the end. We'll see if they're able to do so in this next game, which will, of course, be game number 5. The winner of this game number 5 will be on Grand Final, Grand Champion point. And it's such an important one for both of these teams to get. I imagine they'll be fighting hard in the server. Here we go.
Well, what a tasty prospect indeed. Scores are tie. Olympic now, no boost. He's going to try and get the flick off, but Lackstar, having grabbed that corner, in a bit of a better position to make that save now, as Olympic gets the clear out and kicks things off in a good fashion, as we can see both teams starting with some serious attacking intent, and Happy Meal getting the dunk.
It's going to be the first goal for Dynasty Kings, but Alpha Force, they will not be deterred. They have been behind in games in this series before. They will know that there is scope for them to come back in this one, as Kings do take the initial lead. They will now want daylight, something they've struggled to find. That second goal to really make it difficult for Alpha Force to get back into the game. This one moves down the side, back in by Tweaks. Has Happy Meal, surely will be. Call it Cast a Curse, call it whatever you want. I call it Dynasty Kings playing much better in this game 5 and getting out to a 2-goal lead inside the first 35 seconds.
Well, the first goal was from Happy Meal's supreme fatness, getting that ball over the line. The second goal was Happy Meal's supreme timing on the line to take advantage of that loose ball. And now Kings are up 2. Happy Meal now trying to pass it straight through down the middle, finding Friction without the requisite boost to make that save. These early blitzers are proving instrumental in a Dynasty assault. And speaking of blitzers, Bigfoot gets a goal in reply.
Yeah, and that's important. Tweaks had a lot of boost, but he just misplaced that, touched that ball, and that one is going to fall right into the path of an on-rushing Bigfoot, and Alpha Force are back within 1. That's where they will have wanted to be. Ball won by Lackstar, played inside, cleared away by Happy Meal. Now the Kings try to spark this counter. Happy Meal doing some fancy footwork in the air. In the end, does not come to anything. Alpha Force make the save. Friction looking for a demo. Nothing doing. Big clearance, but Tweaks will be able to collect and misses that demo again. Looking maybe for the pass. Will try and take it himself. Lackstar intercepting. Lackstar now just trying to play that shadow. It's away by Olympic. Back in from Friction. Looking for the bump, but nothing doing. And Kings might be able to come back in this one. It's off the backboard. Friction. Chance. Olympic. Bottom left. What a save that is by Friction to keep the scoreline at 2-1.
Happy Meal trying to force his way over the line like a Springbok prop. He is just that confident right now as Bigfoot returning the favor. They're taking the challenge, and a bounce straight back into the Alpha Force line means they need to reset, and you can see the consistent harassment by Olympic, forcing them to be on their toes in defense. They can never stand still, because if they are, they get kaboomed. And a shot coming off here, and Tweaks this time taking up Dynasty's third goal.
Yeah, and there it is. Olympic just pancaking that one against the backboard, and it will be followed in very nicely indeed. 3-1 to the Dynasty Kings. They'll be very much expecting now with this lead not to lose it, and to make sure that they get that third game on the board and have 2 chances to win Master Tier. This ball in from Olympic. Chance for Happy Meal just to win this. Plays it off the backboard again. Following in is Tweaks, but the counter-attack now can spark for Alpha Force. All towards the King's net as, oh my goodness, what's happened there? Bigfoot able to get that goal. Did he get some kind of ground pinch? This one's off the ceiling, and he does. He pinches it basically between 3 of them. That is rocketed 84 kph into the top right corner, and suddenly Alpha Force are back within 1.
Pinch me, I'm dreaming. It is a superb triple pinch. That means Alpha Force can try get back now, as Bigfoot putting a hit on Olympic means the aggression is from both sides. They are both happy with physically assaulting each other this entire game long, as a shot coming in here from Happy Meal means that he gets his hat trick and Dynasty get their 4th goal.
Yeah, 4-2 now. And just when Alpha Force were fighting back, just when you thought maybe it was going to be the change in momentum, Dynasty shut that down immediately. 4-2. Just under 2 minutes left to play. It's a big win by Lackstar. He's going to go and boost steal in that back corner. But this will find its way to Bigfoot, you would expect. He passes back across. Whether it was a pass or a shot, you've got to respect it. Friction finishes. And this is an absolute goal fest right now, back and forth. And neither team can shut up shop. 3 goals to Alpha Force as they try to fight back against the 4 for Kings. And they've got a lot of time to do it, Bromeo.
They really do, and what really impressed me about that is, this could be a fantastic goal, but saved there off the line. What I was trying to say is that Bigfoot could have taken that shot on goal. He had the opportunity, but instead he elected to take that shot as Lackstar making the save now. And it's the teamwork that led to that last Alpha Force goal, and it's teamwork that'll see them through, possibly as this falls in front of the net. But Happy Meal ensuring that it does not. This has been a game where it has been thrown on both sides. It has not been fought in the middle at all, as Friction now taking possession to the floor, passes it off to Bigfoot, but doesn't quite get there. Bigfoot getting demoed for his efforts as Happy Meal takes a shot off, forcing the double commit save, and now Lackstar having to get his team out of their half.
That's back in from Happy Meal. 40 seconds on the clock for Alpha Force to try and get this one back, but Sweets White looked for the shot. Bigfoot made himself as big as he could. Happy Meal into the corner. Blackstar down the side, but met by Olympic, and this is frustrating gameplay from Dynasty Kings. They just want to make sure this ball stays in this half, does not leave back towards their own. Ball into the middle, and Friction will be trying to move this one forward. Bigfoot takes over. Happy Meal is all the way back, but so is his teammates. That's a nice save. Happy Meal takes his forwards again. 10 seconds. A goal here would finish the job. Bigfoot pushes it over to the side, back off the backboard. Away by Alpha Force. They might be able to keep this ball up for a 0-second play. Happy Meal will try and drop it down. That's in the corner. Won by Tweaks. They just need to dead it now. Bigfoot gets the clearance. Can Lackstar make it there? No, he cannot. And the game is over, and Dynasty takes series and championship point.
Well, it feels like something is on the wind, and I'm sure Dynasty can taste it. Happy Meal getting the game MVP there with a monumental 700-point haul from 3 goals off 8 shots, 2 saves, and 2 demos. So he is playing incredibly well, the talismanic Dynasty master player. And Dynasty have now won 2 games on the trot. This is the first time that they've gained the ascendancy. So you'd back Dynasty to see this one through, but every single one of these games has been a single goal game.
It has, but just look at my favorite stat in the whole world. Field domination in the bottom right-hand corner. 72% in favor of Dynasty Kings. It may have only been a 1-goal game, but Dynasty were the ones pressing forwards. They were the ones who were really making it hard for Alpha Force to get out of their half. Those counterattacks did come through for Alpha Force. If Dynasty can get a little bit better at defending them, they will work. But I see a lot of crowns taking place in chat right now. What I would also like to see is Rip Bromeo's prediction, please. That would be wonderful as we get into game number 6, Neo Tokyo. Kings versus Alpha Force. Kings win. They are the champions. Alpha Force wanting to get out to a quick start and save this championship game. But they're going to have to do better than a kickoff goal to beat this Kings side. And there it is. Friction gets on the board 10 seconds in. Alpha Force light up the scoreboard immediately in game 6.
Well, Greybeard has a saying about game number 6. Is that it is where the field of dreams die. And honestly, that is so true for many. I'm a firm believer in a hot game 7 because Alpha Force have not been out of it once They've been battered, they've been bruised, but Bigfoot now getting the bump on Olympic, and quite poetic if it is, as Friction lays off against the backboard. Olympic to collect though. Now Bigfoot is going to take this into the air. He's going to try some trickery, but Happy Meal's not having any of it as they quickly start laying it down, and Happy Meal touches it in, and I don't think that ball touched the floor from the moment it left the other half.
Looks like the case. What a pass that is, by the way, from Tweaks, putting it into a dangerous position. Happy Meal will be there to finish the job. Great finish from Dynasty, and they are working so well as a team right now. Happy Meal off the backboard, right off kickoff, cleared away, back in from Tweaks. Bigfoot reversing, but Blackstar is back to cover that post as Friction now clearing it away. Chance for Blackstar, needs a double.
Come
oh my
on.
goodness, it's a triple commit from Dynasty Kings. Where is the communication? Are they even in a voice comms? That one is going to go down as a freebie for Alpha Force.
Well, it looks like Sfaulcon and Mines points are still there and safe as Alpha Force come back with another goal, capitalizing on a slight error on the Dynasty side of things. Now Bigfoot faking the aerial, obviously has no boost, but nobody is back. It is a very risky play here as they had to get this one out. But nobody back on the Dynasty side of things either, as it seems like the gloves are off. The slugging is now in earnest as Blackstar puts off the pass. He's going to try and challenge this straight over. And now it's Bigfoot's turn. Tries to put off a pass, put it down, but read by Happy Meal. But Blackstar with very quick thinking for that save.
For sure, and there's a chance now for Alpha Force to build this, get that third goal. That would really give them a chance to make a case for this game 7. As Tweaks puts it inside, there's a chance for Happy Meal. Gets the reset, goes onto the backboard, needs that push from Olympic, which does not happen. Now Tweaks moving across his goal to make that save. Over onto the far side, and Meal goes by. Tweaks doesn't have any boost, and it's awkward in the midfield between these two teams. What a pinch! Olympic makes the save and keeps the scoreline at 2-1, but that ball really could have ended up anywhere, and there's a chance here. Friction taking it forward, Sweeks wins out, but Alpha Force, their pressure is really telling in this game 6.
Honestly, the pressure is being put on now by this Alpha Force side as they are very, very quick on the counter, and some of the mechanical play that we've seen from Friction in the air to try and beat past the first defender has been immaculate so far, but so has been Tweaks with his passes as this one lands dangerously close to the Alpha Force line. And another demo coming in by Olympic himself, of course, naturally, and forcing Blackstar into the save. And it's been a game where you do not know where it's going to go next. These attacks are so fast on both sides. The pressure is so immense being applied by both sides that at any point a goal could be scored.
Certainly could. And now Olympic plays this one down the left, back in from Friction. Away by Happy Meal. Olympic is moved quite far up the field. In from Happy Meal. Tweaks not going to go for that one instead. Going to sit back, try and defend. Blackstar over into the backboard. Now Friction collects, gets the double, plays it down the line. Again, Tweaks is there, but gets bumped away. The pass from Friction. Tweaks still maintains position. That's a big clearance too. Bigfoot going to have to be careful with where this ball ends up, and I don't think he was careful enough. Olympic onto the backboard. Blackstar will come across and make the save for his side. The Dynasty Kings starting to knock on the door, starting to maybe start panicking this Alpha Force defense, and the minute that you start panicking, you get inside your own head. That's going to cause some problems. Backboard. Olympic going to revert to the save, revert to the defense for the moment. Less than a minute left, Bromeo. Now or never for Dynasty.
Well, Dynasty on match point will want to take this. And if Bigfoot has anything to say about it, he's going to take a shot cross. And there we go. It seems like we are going to Champions Field. I do not want to read this too early because it often comes back to bite us, Rhino.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 goals in, 40 seconds? Could happen, and we have seen a couple of kickoff goals for sure. This one will not be one of them. Sweeps off the left side. Gets the better of Friction in the 50. Happy Meal into the corner. Going to be Lackstar trying to clear. Olympic surely going to push forwards. Needs a double. Will find it too.
Olympic! What a way to keep Dynasty Kings in the game. Flies through from midfield. Finds the double touch. And that's exactly what Kings needed to lift their spirits.
What a goal indeed from Dynasty Kings from Olympic. Olympic coming in with another demo. Getting demoed actually, so this is going to go down to the wire as Bigfoot trying to get the touchdown, couldn't quite get there, but Alpha Force need to hang on for dear lives. Their final hopes rest on the next 10 seconds, and Bigfoot putting it into the corner, wants to get this on the ground. He's going to pull as much time as possible, and there we go. It was almost a goal, but it is not on the floor yet, Rhino.
How? Happy Meal. Pass inside. It's too far beyond his teammates. And where every good series goes, certainly every good grand final, we finish RSC SSA Season 3 with a Game 7 grand final. Kings and Alpha Force going blow for blow.
Champions Field is getting ready for these two teams. Critical Force and Dynasty have delivered champagne Rocket League tonight. Bigfoot getting the game MVP with 470 points. 2 goals for that. 5 shots, 1 save. But again, massive amounts of demos being applied by Dynasty. It is unrelenting. Dynasty are not going down here without a fight, and that's why we find ourselves here in the 7th game of this grand final.
Yeah, for sure. Alpha Force just keeping in touch, and that is all they needed to do. It's a tight game. It's scrappy. It's back and forth. Another 1-goal game, as you said. It's everything you want in a grand final, Bromeo. This is what we do this for. This is what we live for in the RSC, in Rocket League in general. I see chat are going absolutely crazy. I want them to go even more crazy as we get into Game 7. Dynasty Kings, Alpha Force, take it away.
Chat, now is your time to support your team. Critical Force, I want to see you in chat. Dynasty, I want to see you in chat. This is the last game of the season. This is the final of finals. This is Game 7, Champions Field, and it's off to one hell of a start as Happy Meal puts in the shot, but Bigfoot making the save there as it gets peppered once more. The pressure immediately relieved on the line of Alpha Force, but they're not out of the woods yet. Olympic getting demoed, but in the process, Tweaks scored.
That is Tweaks making that one work. Olympic plays it in field, and Tweaks, what a finish into the middle. Friction can't get back across, doesn't have the boost to work with. That's going to be the first goal of this game number 7 as Dynasty Kings, they take the first step towards becoming champions. Ball inside. Friction working down this right-hand side. Happy Meal intercepting, trying to get around that one as Tweaks now will get possession, but it's a missed touch from him. Olympic will fix it for him. Tweaks looking for that second. It's a double commit from that pairing. Ooh. Nice pass across. Good shot on goal, but Olympic is going to cover that one. And the savior for Dynasty Kings rushes across goal to keep the scoreline at 1-0.
The tempo is now electric. You can feel that this is the last game as the shot comes off by Friction. And he gets the equalizer. A fantastic shot here, passed, doinked by Bigfoot. And he just put Friction into the space that he needed to get it past Olympic to set up the score.
That was a wonderful team play from Alpha Force. And all tied up, all square. It has all the makings of the Game 7. It has all the makings of the grand final we would have wanted from the start of today, from the start of the season, no less. This one comes off the backboard. Friction sending it clear. Lackstar puts it forwards. Happy Meal try and get this one Round one. Lackstar's got a demo. Friction taking it forward. Tweaks wins out, but Lackstar's up, away by Olympic. And everyone is just trying to get that play to give them all the momentum, to give them all of the vibes going into the rest of this game. And at the moment, either side is able to do that. They both scored. That's the most important thing. Both teams will be running off that kind of fuel. Friction works inside. Now looks maybe for the goal. It will be cleared away by Happy Meal. Cuts inside. Gets around Lackstar. Looks to cut it back across. Tweaks is right there. Now we'll try and find the pass to Olympic. Olympic does not get up early enough. Wins the 50 though, and Happy Meal misses. It's going to be Alpha Force to come back down the field on a counter-attack.
Well, this is going to land awkwardly, but Happy Meal says no. You feel like these attacks are now with spite. They are with venom. They are out to kill. They want to win. This game needs to end with a victor, and it might do it here as a shot almost going in for Alpha Force as they start laying on the pressure they've just received, faking out. Olympic couldn't get the touch there, but Happy Meal could as Lackstar puts the pass across. Bigfoot not getting the shot, but into the corner. He's going to try and make a stop, try and reset as Happy Meal now doinks it up. Lackstar is going to try and maintain possession, tries to go under, but Olympic gets the clear, and now they've got some pressure. Tweaks facing the wrong direction, but gets the clear out. Critical Force are not done yet, though. Putting it back into the corner. Friction trying to get the pass across, but Happy Meal now getting the clear. Olympic with the bump, though, giving them the space.
Great work, as that might be a...
Oh!
Call them fakes, call them whiffs, call them the leaders. As Happy Meal off that left-hand side, Happy Meal maybe just getting the better of that recovering defender. And that is going to be the goal that sends Dynasty Kings into the lead. 2-1. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Can they shut up shop? Can they keep Alpha Force out? We will find very shortly. Maybe it's going to be an immediate response. No. Olympic makes sure that ball gets sent back down towards Alpha Force's half. Tweaks from that sidewall. Away by Lackstar. He's got time and space. Two things you do not want to give this man! Lackstar, the demo play, gets them back level. Alpha Force are not to be denied, not yet.
What a demo play on the line of Kings, forcing through sheer will the equalizer. There are now 72 seconds left of this grand final, bearing an overtime if there is one, but they have 72 seconds for either side to take home the glory. Both of them can smell it, both of them can taste it, both of them can feel it. They have fought through 9 weeks of league play. They have fought through the entire bracket of this play-ins, playoffs. Alpha Force are going to feel like they can do it, but now pass down to Olympic, tries to take the shot. Bigfoot now trying to get the clear. Tweaks got the boost. He's going to try and pass it under. Friction with the stop, though. The pressure is on Alpha Force right now as Lackstar tries to get it out, but Happy Meal getting the touch. Challenged by Happy Meal once more. 30 seconds left on the clock, Rhino.
Nice idea, but it doesn't come off, and now Happy Meal backboard cleared away by Lackstar again, and he's going to try and take this forwards. Finds the pass. Friction doesn't have any boost. Still wins that one out. Olympic does get 100. That ball flies across the goal line. Picked up by Happy Meal. Looks to get this forwards. Lackstar drops it down. Friction with the clearance. I think both of these teams are going to be relatively happy if this does go to overtime. As this ball moves back down, Happy Meal looks for the pass across. It will fall. And OT Game 7 Grand Final. It's all down to golden goal.
You could not write this, Rhino. You could not script this. Game 7 overtime, and shot immediately coming from Lackstar.
Wow! 11 seconds of overtime. Lackstar off the backboard. Double touch found. And this kid is gonna be a star, I guarantee you. Alpha Force fought back twice in that game. 1-0 down. Now we're back to 1-1. 2-0 down. 2-1 down. Now we're back to 2-2. And they win it with 11 seconds played in overtime. And there is your MVP for the game, Lackstar. A deserved victor. 2 goals from 3 shots.
Remember that name.
Lackstar. Remember that name, and what a series it was. Game 7, 7 games in this grand final, going to overtime, and it's only fitting that Lackstar gets the game MVP of that game number 7 with that final shot that sank it. So look upon these highlights. You will see many of them. You'll see all of the demos, all of the trials and tribulations, but Critical Force, take a bow. You are RSC Master Champions. And I can see everybody in the chat going absolutely wild. I can see Bruv busy celebrating, telling everybody to go sleep. He says he's crying. I'm not sure I believe him. We need to get him in for an interview stat. But Rhino, how good was that?
That was everything you want. Everything you want in a grand final you got as part of RSC SSA Season 3 Master Tier. Looking back on some of these goals that got us here, Game 6, of course, that triple commit is going to be one that Dynasty look back on and wonder if things were different, if comms were better. Could they maybe have seen that game through? Just never know. Those are the ones that keep you up at night. That pass, by the way, from Bigfoot in a Game 7 of a grand final as well is absolutely picture perfect. Blackstar being the demo machine as well. Just gorgeous to watch. And then the game-winning goal. Backboard, slotted bottom left. No one's back on the side of their opponents, and it will be Alpha Force. It will be Bigfoot, by the way, to get that MVP. 25 shots, 7 goals, but he kept his team in it more than anyone else. 12 saves across the 7 games. That is one of the big reasons why Alpha Force are your RSC Season 3 Master Champions.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the shift that Bigfoot put in? You can have a look at the post-series stats here quickly as you see it went to Game 7, 4 wins to 3, 15 goals to 15, 47 shots to 54, 31 saves to 29. But the big one, 46 demos by Dynasty onto 25 of Critical Force. That was absolutely huge. But I do want to talk about Bigfoot for a second. He was the Mesut Ozil of this team. He was the Kevin De Bruyne. He was the one putting in the assists, because truthfully, some of those finishes were fantastic. Lackstar and Friction, take a bow. But those passes were so solid. He was pressing triangle all the way, Bigfoot, putting in his teammates for those shots on goal. So very well-deserved series MVP. And truthfully, I am still on an absolute high. Greybeard, what do you think?
Yara. An absolute gift. I mean, what a series. I mean, what a way, what a climax, what a way to end it all off. A Game 7 overtime. I mean, we got it. We went all the way. We went to overtime. Lackstar, that was his prediction, that it was going to go all the way, that it was going to be close. And man, what a result. Big disappointment for Dynasty not to be triple champions. They do make me feel a little bit better, but I am disappointed for them. But Bruv was immediately in my DMs. Get me on. Get me on. And I'm like, calm down, bro. Calm down. We're gonna get you on. You'll come on the award show. You will have your moment. But we gotta interview a player here. But he is so happy, and as well as he should be. First time franchise in the RSC. They have appeared. They have performed so well, and they take the master crown. They are Critical Force. Are your master champions. And man, oh man, what a way to play it out. And we're going to have an interview shortly. But Bromeo, as the person doing the like overseeing the selection of franchises or whatever, you must be really pleased.
I am so chuffed. It's been such a good season for RSC franchise-wise, is that we took a big chance on a couple of new faces, that being XP and Critical Force, to name a few, but they have really come out shining and swinging, and they've played so well. Critical Force, the dark horse, coming through from the lower brackets to take it at the top. It brings me so much joy to see the likes of Dynasty and the likes of Critical Force taking home some silverware, because truthfully, success comes when everything is going well at home, and it just shows that their franchises respectively are ran very well. So before I give more congratulations to the players, I would love to tip my hat to the GMs, AAOKYs and Bruvs and people like that, because without their hard work, these players wouldn't be in the position that they are, because it's very easy to lose sight of how much work it took to get you.
Yeah, and Bruv is definitely, we've had him on here. He definitely looks like one of those new faces. The moustache notwithstanding, and we will definitely get the GMs on in our award show, I think. But Bromeo, Rhino, outstanding work, and what a gift to you. I mean, how awesome to have a series like that to see out the season. It all comes down to a few seconds in overtime, a whole season of work. Well done to the two of you. You can kick back. And thank you very much. And we are going to go and interview. And as far as I know, we got Friction to come and chat about the big result. And indeed, oh, Friction, we actually got you on. Did you lie to me earlier when I asked you if you had a camera?
I'm using my phone right now.
Okay, so we'll call it a half truth. Friction, congratulations! What a performance! What a banger! But man, so close. A few seconds of overtime in Game 7 to determine you as the champions for RSC Season 3 in the Master Tier.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those last few seconds, I couldn't believe. When Laxar went for that double, I was like, no, there's no way. Is he actually going to get that? Like, no, Lax just played insane in that last game. It was crazy. No, but my teammates, they were amazing. They really put in all the hard work. They left everything on the field there in that last series. So big thanks to them.
Well, it's been a good season for you. You're a VS champion. And now coming and being the community league, the RSC champion now, and so I've asked this question of the master, a few people in Masters, is how much time as a team did you kind of spend together scrimming, or is like you all know each other, you all know what you got to do, you kind of get in there and do your jam?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a bit of a more fortunate position this season because obviously with Bigfoot, I teamed with him on RSC last season. And then Lackstar, I mean, me and him just always have good chem because, I mean, we've been teaming for like 3 years or 2 years or something like that. So I always have good chem with those two guys. Honestly, we didn't scrim at all.
Yeah.
We did do a replay analysis last night, but that's pretty much all the prep that we had going into this. And it worked, so.
Well, you came out there and did the job, and Lackstar, not bad for a retired old man.
Yeah, no, he's great.
And then Tweaks is a guy that sort of suddenly appeared on the radar this year. Great performance at VS, and certainly the youngster of your team, and hoping he's going to have a massive breakout season next year.
Tweaks isn't on my team.
Oh my God, is my old brain letting me down? Oh, of course it's letting me down. But yes, Tweaks, I hope we'll have a breakout season next year. Oh
no,
man,
for sure. No, I mean, playing against him, I can really see has a lot of potential. I mean, he played great. All the guys played great, really. So, looking forward to what he has in store for us next season, for sure.
And speaking of next season, what's in store for you next season? Well, I heard from Sfaulcon and what I mean, geez, I'm doing really well. I heard from Lackstar, and he's sort of moving into the coaching role. What are we going to see from you next season, Friction?
Well, at the moment, I'm going to be playing with G6 with Genisus.
Of course. Good to hear.
Going to be playing with them for RSC. I don't know when the next RSC season is, but I'm definitely
probably around. Well, we're going to have a mid-season, something in between, like a short form. But the next big season will be the same time next year.
Okay. Oh, I mean, I'll be there for sure. I'll be there. So, but yeah, no. At the moment, medium term to short term, I'm definitely playing. I'll have to see after next season. I'll see. But yeah, at the moment, I'm still here.
Good stuff. And no need of the sub tonight. Bigfoot, you and Lackstar getting the job done.
No, for sure. No, they played insane. I'm really proud of the guys.
Yeah. All right, brilliant. Well, you guys get $4,000, so you'll split that amongst you. So congratulations. Thanks to Nixa for the prize pool and Friction. What a great season. And coming out of, last night we saw 6th place in the league come and be the champions. You guys doing it out of 5th place. And denying a record-setting three-tier champion for Dynasty and doing the new franchise of Critical Force proud. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, good stuff, man. Thank you very much. And we've come to the end of the interview, as I think your phone cam is about to break. So, Friction, yeah. Thank you, man. Well done.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Oh, wow. And just like that, we come to the end. RSC Season 3 closes. Now, you would have seen on the calendar that awards night is the 21st of November. We are going to be moving that a week out just because I'm not around next week. So from a production point of view, we're gonna move everything. We're gonna move a week later. So we'll have a look at the calendar. There it is. Everything is done except awards night. Final date to be confirmed. But we have wrapped up an entire season, all the way from the draft lottery through preseason, 9 weeks of league play, and a week of playoffs. 20% of the year we have spent on RSC, and a lot of people made it happen. Not the least of which are the 250 players who signed up to be a part of this league. We are going to make it even bigger for next season. There is a lot going on, a lot of support coming in. So the biggest community esport league on the continent is going to get bigger and better. And thanks once again to our sponsors, Nixa, for the cash prize, the prize pool, which we'll be paying out over the next couple of weeks. And of course, Genisus Extreme bringing us all the action, the amazing action, the high level action we saw throughout tonight. And to everyone on production, the casters, of course, Daniel and Deploy, and everyone who's made it happen. Our admins, Heinz, Silver, doing duty tonight, Rhino for the B stream, the EU casters that came in, Vector, Big Chebs, Hodge, Skilton, all of you, thank you very much. And of course, Muzz. Oh God, I'm going to try and remember them all. Muzz, TheBromeo, Ultrism. Who else did we have locally? We had a whole bunch of them. Thank you to you all, and they will of course be shouted out and acknowledged on our award show when we have it. But I feel like I'm now desperately trying to hang on, because as much as tough and as hard as it's been, I don't want this to end, because that will be the end of RSC Season 3. But I do think that is the end. But to all our viewers, and there were a lot of them tonight, and all of you in chat keeping the vibes going, and overall the vibes have been immense throughout the season. Thank you for being there, for doing what you're doing. So there are 2 final things to close out the season: the award show, and there will be season 11 of Just Saying, which will also wrap it up, and then also that episode to look forward to the future of Rocket League in SSA and what that podcast is going to become, because we are now just 6 weeks away from the start of the RLCS 2025 season. So there'll barely be time to catch our breath before we're back into competitive Rocket League. And there are going to be off-season events during the RLCS, like between the splits, we're going to have some RSC action and other community-related action. So a lot of Rocket League still to come. So keep grinding, keep working. There will be more, and it'll be better than it has been. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to roll out. So from me, Greybeard, to all of you, peace. That's it for RSC Season 3. See you on the podcast. See you in Season 4. See you in RLCS 2025. Cheers.
And what a shot from Kirica, taking that off the ceiling, underneath the ball, and straight down the middle.
Oh, there it is, out of the blue.
2 seconds left on the clock, and the Joker finds something out of nothing.
Now, that pass from Shadow was immaculate, playing it straight down center. Hecky just had to get a touch, and it's all he needed.
Sonic has a chance. It's an open net if he sees it. Looking for the shot downfield. Goes into the corner. Kilogram! He gets the goal!
They're just in front of the net. Nuke barely keeps it out there. Dies on the goal line. The long shot. It finds it through. Into D. Gonna pick it up.